Since we have a large crowd, welcome to City Hall. Welcome to the Historic Review Commission meeting of August 7th, 2023. We're going to begin the meeting today with roll call. Craig Pepper. Here. Present. Dave Brennan. Absent. Mark Tannenbaum.
Here.
Melinda Meyer. Here. Jeff Zalonis.
Here.
Jason Wazorek. Absent. And Chris Kinder. Very good. So we'll start with the approval of our June 2023 minutes, which I think were sent earlier today. I will make a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the motion, please signify by aye. Opposed? Okay, minutes pass. Moving on to old business, we have an update of the Historic Preservation Plan.
Yes, the update is that we should have a final rough draft for review by the 18th. So next Friday we should have a draft for review that will be reviewed by our steering committee and also by our commission. Once that's approved and changes are made, then we can then present it to the, we'll have, I believe 2 public meetings. We'll set those up as soon as we know that we have a final draft. And then we'll also afterwards then have a review by the Historic Review Commission. It'll be approved by them, and then it has to go to Planning Commission and then to City Council. So hopefully by the end of this year we'll have it adopted.
For all of you in the audience, since you are a captive audience today, the City of Erie is in the process of developing a historic preservation plan for the city. This is one of the first projects initiated by the Historic Review Commission in partnership with the Planning Department and the administration and City Council. So the Historic Preservation Plan has been in process for probably about 6 months, if not longer. There have been multiple public engagement opportunities, including 2 or 3 public meetings, actually perhaps 4 or 5 public meetings, an online survey, but don't fear if you haven't participated yet. There is still an opportunity to get involved and provide your feedback for the, again, in process historic preservation plan. So the next step, as Chris presented, and I'm just going to repeat this since his microphone is causing us big thunderous booms. Chris, his report was that the next section of the Historic Preservation Plan, which is going to be the recommendations section, will be presented to the Historic Review Commission and the city by August 18th. Following that, there will be additional opportunities for public engagement. At least 2 meetings will be held where the public will be invited to participate and provide comment. So I'm stressing that this portion of the plan is the recommendation portion, because the piece that they've already finished is the piece that provides the historical context and significance for the plan, why this matters. Of course, you all are on the front line of historic preservation in the city. You're all property owners caring for your buildings, whether they be residential or commercial. So we appreciate all you do to maintain your properties. So let's see, the next item on the agenda is the introduction of the new planning director for the city of Erie.
All right, so we're going to see my mic. I'm sorry, my mic's not working. So we have, I can now. I cannot. We have a brand new planning director. We're very fortunate that Jack who's Fry, is a new planning director who oversees our program and various others through the state. We've been without a director for a few months now, so we're very excited to have some new leadership, and we're all very excited that Jack. We're good.
Okay, fantastic. Well, welcome to the new director's position. Anything else under that? No, okay. Then we jump into item number 5, which is the public hearing for the nomination for the Waybuilt Weber House at 317 Frontier Drive. This is a nomination for local historic designation. Again, as many of you may know, the City of Erie is now a certified local government. We do indeed have a process by which property owners and/or neighborhoods can designate a single property or a district as a historic resource. Again, this is official designation by the City of Erie. It ultimately takes a vote of City Council to approve that designation and a change of zoning, because it is a historic overlay designation. So this is our second nomination that we are looking at. And Chris, do you have an update for that?
We do have the owners who are present. We do have the nominations been up on our shared drive for a couple months now. It is a great nomination. It's a beautiful home, and it's in the Frontier neighborhood, which itself I think could certainly be eligible for a local listing as well as National Register listing. So we do have the owner present if you would like them to say a few words.
Matthew, would you like to say a few words? Yeah. I heard that from up here.
Hello? Is this? We're good. No booming. I'm Matthew Falcone. I'm one of the owners of 317 Frontier, and the most current in a very, very long list of owners over the past century. And I am so happy to have presented this for your consideration as a landmark. It's a beautiful house, and we feel very gifted to be able to maintain it for as long as we can, and it's our hope that in the future it passes on to somebody else who can maintain it just the way that it is. And it's a wonderful, very small piece of Erie's history that we're happy to see recognized in this way. And I'd also like to thank some other people that helped me with the nomination. It should come as no surprise that something like this wasn't without the help of several strong women leading the way. And I'd like to thank Erin Phillips for her research. And I'd also like to thank Amanda Stander for some of her writing on the nomination as well. And of course, I'd like to thank these two who are my inspiration for submitting this landmark application.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you. Excellent cheerleaders. So our next steps with this nomination are to go to public hearing, or for the Historic Review Commission to formally provide a recommendation.
Yes, it'd be the next step is for the HRC to provide a formal recommendation to Planning Commission, and then Planning Commission would recommend to City Council.
Well, I personally would like to make a motion to recommend this nomination for review then by the Planning Commission. Matthew, I think it was an excellent nomination. Your house is gorgeous, and I'm sure your counterparts there probably also love the house. Do we have a second?
I'll make a second.
Seconded by Jeff. Is there any further discussion of this nomination? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Fantastic. Motion passes, and I'll work with you, Chris, to get the recommendation letter going.
Yep.
Okay, so next we move into what you're all here for, which is ultimately the review of the historic building improvement grant applications. So we've had just an amazing number of proposals come in. So we've had about 40 different applications come in. This is separate from those that have already submitted applications, and we just were waiting on additional documentation for. So because there is such a large number of applications, we want to hear from each and every one of you today. However, we may actually not be making motions to approve applications today. We do have at least one member who is unable, one commissioner who is unable to attend, and several of us just have been out of town and unable to review applications. And so since we have, again, 40 applications to review, we want to hear from you. If you're here in the room representing an application, again, we want to invite you to come up to the microphone when it's time. We're going to go through these in the order that they were received. But again, we may actually not vote on the new applications until the September meeting. So moving on, though, to the applications that have already been submitted. These are applications that were submitted anywhere from 1 to 4 months ago or 3 months ago, and we were just simply waiting on additional documentation for. So we begin with, let's see, are we going to begin with, we have Mark Adams at 4014 Balboa Avenue. Please, come on up.
Good afternoon. So I applied for this back in like March, and originally I was just going to have the house sided, and I was going to put some new windows in the house myself. And what we had determined here was that I should include the windows and not do any of the work myself. And so I submitted another quote, and I submitted it to Chris, but unfortunately that quote got lost in email, and I tried feverishly to keep resending it. And finally I sent it to Aaron Snippet, and he was able to get all the information. But in the meantime, the house was actually finished. And so I kind of put the house before the cart because I didn't know what to do. I was under the impression that if I just submitted the new quote that you guys were going to approve it. And the reason I say that is because that's basically what you said. Put in a new quote, include the windows, and we'll approve it. So that's where I'm at. But unfortunately, the house is done. I can show you pictures of it. It turned out beautiful. And you should have the new quote. You should also have the invoice that's marked paid.
So Mark, while she's looking for that, I remember when you were here the last time and talked about it, and you said your contractor was going to start in May, and we said don't start till you have a signed grant agreement. When I was leaving, I said to, Chris was sitting over there, and I said, you know, I have a small window because this home is going to be empty in May. And he said, just submit it and it'll get approved at the next meeting, which would have been April. But unfortunately, that got all messed up. I mean, I had no communication with any of you guys. I tried calling, and when I called, the phone rang right to voicemail, and the voicemail was full. All right, you talked to Aaron Snippet?
Yeah, but that wasn't until like a month later that I found out who Aaron Snippet really was.
All right, and they issued the grant agreement. Do you have a signed grant agreement?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a signed grant agreement? That comes from his office.
I don't. I don't have anything.
Okay, then that's a problem.
See that again.
Well, shouldn't we look at what he's done and review that? I mean, if it meets our qualifications.
Yeah,
The challenge is we don't offer reimbursement for projects that have not been formally approved and voted on by the commission. So if we review a completed project that will be setting new precedents for this commission and for our guidelines, and I think we have to think seriously whether or not that's what we want to do.
But on my behalf, I did everything that you told me to do. From what I was told, apparently you had email server issues. I ended up printing out everything and actually taking it down and handing it to Aaron Snippet just to try to expedite things.
Okay. But still, in the end, you don't have a signed grant agreement.
No, but I was told that I would have one if I submitted the stuff, and I submitted exactly what you asked for. And it wasn't even that much of an increase. It went from $12,000 to $17,000.
It wasn't
only asking for half.
Yeah, it isn't so much the cost, it's the fact that the process is, the guidelines say we cannot pay for work that was done with no grant agreement, work that was previously committed, or work that was previously done, and now people are asking for payment. Specifically, it says that.
So what was I supposed to do? I mean, I tried everything I could to get this information to you. It wasn't that I didn't try.
Okay.
I mean, I literally sent it on time, exactly as you asked. It was just never recognized.
All right, so your statement here, we understand that. We're not going to get this resolved here, and I think we need to sit down with Aaron Snippet and say, you got the information from him. He issues the grant agreement, but you don't have one, right? We need to sit down. We're not going to get this resolved right here. We understand your position, so.
I'm deaf on this side. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm having a really hard time. So what's the steps going forward?
So Chris, we're gonna have to sit down with Aaron Snippet and find out if he got information, and if there is no signed grant agreement, then we can't offer reimbursement.
I had the conversation with Aaron last week,
Okay,
and they did not receive, they received what we have, and what we have, it's digitized on our share files, and the copy is right here. What was received was marked late June, when it was put on my desk, or when redevelopment received it. I went on vacation July 3rd, and I picked it up when I got back. It was on my desk when I got back. That was the only information I had up until then. I didn't receive any emails, and I asked Aaron, also Cynthia, and Kendra with Redevelopment Authority, and they didn't receive any faxes either. So somewhere something was missed, but we did receive it. But I do, and looking back on the meeting was in May, we did say that if he provided the information within the next couple of weeks, we would vote on it, but we didn't receive the information.
Now, I have emails that are dated during that time that I sent them, and I
When was
didn't
the
get
work-
any rejection back, so I had no indication that it wasn't received.
when was the work started? What day was the work started?
It was started May 11th,
And when
And-
was it completed?
and it was completed like May 22nd.
I think.
So we would have voted
there's
on
obviously
June, is when we would have voted.
A lack of communication. I don't think deliberate on anyone's part. But I remember authorizing his request of, not vote, saying to him, we need, I think what was a very specific quote, right? We had what he wanted to do, but we did not have the quote from a contract, right?
We did not vote. We did not vote on approving this
Okay.
application.
Okay.
I mean, you're not setting a new precedence here. You're not saying we're going to take these once they're complete, because this was all set up ahead of time. I mean, this is not, it's not exactly as you're saying. It's not as black and white as what you're saying. I mean, what happened was there was a bunch of mistakes made, and I tried my best to correct them and to get the information to whoever I could get. And I didn't really understand Aaron Snippet's role until I saw him on television. And then I picked up the phone. I mean, I called as soon as I saw who he was. And he was super nice about it, and he was super understanding. He said, we're having issues with our email. Let's get this thing going. So I'm just asking to pick this up where we left off. I didn't make any other changes to the house. Everything was exactly as I explained it. And the house turned out exactly.
I think that you are interested in pursuing this with Mr. Snippet, right?
We're not going to resolve this in this meeting.
Right,
I don't see
okay,
that
all right.
happening. So rather than beat the dead horse here, let's have a separate discussion. Wait.
We will follow up then.
I'm sorry?
We will follow up with you through Chris.
Okay,
We will follow up.
All right, sounds good.
But again, no vote is being issued today regarding your application, but we will follow up with additional questions and/or
Okay.
correspondence directly through Chris.
All right, I understand, I appreciate that. You know, I'm just one guy, and I have just a few rentals that I rent out, and I try to keep my costs under control, and this is a super opportunity for me to do that. And if this doesn't go through, it's gonna be a major expense on my part.
No, we certainly understand. We certainly understand. And we appreciate you coming here and addressing questions and helping to get this resolved. So,
All righty, all right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
So with the past applications, next on the list, we have Austin Kananzik. And Austin, you can tell me if I butchered your name.
It's Kanonchak, pretty close.
Awesome, Kanonchek.
Yep, so hey, can you hear me okay?
We can. Go right ahead and tell us a little bit about your revised application. Again, this is 215 Cherry Street.
Yep, correct. Yeah, so 215. Getting approved. So the grant that I'm looking for today is in the total cost of the rehab is $17,600, and that would be for the replacement of the 4 windows on the west or the front side of the property, as well as removing the existing front porch and replacing the front porch, and that would include the floor, the railings, and the roof. So just primarily focusing on the front of the property.
And so with the, I did note in your application, the 4 windows that you're size and configuration of the original windows on the front?
Yes, sorry, you broke up a little bit. What was the question?
Are you, with your replacement windows, are you maintaining the size and window opening, the size of the window with your replacement windows?
Yes, correct. Yep, all will remain the same size. But yeah, just need to replace all the windows in the house, eventually will need to be replaced, as I don't think anyone's lived there in, I think, 10 plus years now. They're still, I'm not sure what they're called, but they have the little string.
And the porch replacement, again, is that, are you maintaining the original configuration of the porch?
Yeah, so the style and the size will be roughly the same. We will be keeping the concrete base, but like the wood is all, pretty rotten and will all need to be replaced, and then the roof as well.
It's the original footprint?
It's the original footprint of the porch?
Yes, correct.
No questions?
Okay. That's my question.
Okay, Austin, it looks as if we have no further questions. Do we want to make a vote on this application, which was originally submitted probably for our June
Yes.
I believe it was
meeting?
June, yes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the grant for 215 Cherry Street.
In the amount of $15,000?
Yes.
I would second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, congratulations, Austin. You've been approved the $15,000.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the next application that is a past application that again also required additional submission or additional support material was the application from the Pences, and it's for 306 East 11th Street.
I just sent you a link to that in
Thank
your
you.
messenger.
Thank you.
And also they brought pictures, additional pictures today.
Okay, we run the Remnant Store. It's a business that's been in effect for 60 years. Okay, it'll be 60 years, in fact, last week. Okay, and what we did is we've done numerous repairs on the building over the years. The building is 100 and maybe 20, 25 years old. We've been in process. We've owned this building since 1975, which is 48 years we've owned this building. And over the years, I said we made quite a bit of things. We actually have 2 buildings, and there are actually 3 buildings, but there's 2 addresses. Okay, so we have 302 and 306 East 11th Street. And on a number of years ago, let's say in the middle 90s, we put a rubber roof on 306 East 11th Street. And 3 years ago, I put a roof on part of 302 East 11th Street. Now, the other part, over the years, has been a patch job. It's a flat roof. And what I did is when I asked for an application, I asked for an application to have the roof replaced, okay? And I also asked for electrical work. Now I realized the electrical work, Chris sent us an email and said the electrical work would not be covered under it, that he needed more information on the roof part of it. So I did send him, in early June, I sent something. I brought in another quote, and I brought in pictures of the roof where the holes in the roof and the holes inside and everything that's done, all the damage has been done. There's been a great deal of damage done inside the building and outside the building, okay? So when I brought the stuff here, I took it in and I gave it to the person at the door, and I don't believe it ever got up to Chris. Okay, I gave it to her and she says, I will deliver it, okay? So then we talked to several people, including Mark and Craig Pepper, and they said that redo it, so we redid it, and I ended up giving it to Craig Pepper, and she delivered it this morning. Now, my original was for the roof, getting it done. I had asked for $15,000, okay? Now, I got quotes, okay, after this, okay, because that's part of what I needed. The first quote I got was for $28,000, okay? So I got another quote. The next quote was for $24,000. Well, the man who put the roof on the end, the regular roof on the end of the one building, I called him up and I says, can you give me a quote? So I got him in there, and he came in with a quote of $17,500. And that's the quote that I said, well, I'll go with. I know this guy, I know the work he does, and I know he does a good job for me. In the meantime, I called him in and I says, okay, let's do that. He says, well, he said, you had a great deal of damage on the inside. He says, so I'm going to add a little bit to my quote. And he wrote a paragraph on the bottom. And the paragraph on the bottom said that he would do the inside for, I don't know, $21,000 or $2,100 or something like that. The total amount is $21,500. I'm asking now for $20,000 instead of $15,000. If we don't get this here, we have to go out of business because I can't afford to put that roof on myself, and I can't afford the money to do it. So I would really appreciate you giving us all the consideration that we could have. Thank you.
And you realize the grant can only be $15,000.
Yeah, there's a maximum of the grant.
That's it.
15,000.
That's fine.
Well, if
That's
that's the case, that's,
So you're asking for $15,000?
yes.
Right, that would
Okay.
be fine. We've been in business a long time. We've serviced a lot of lower income people. And our top price for fabric is $9.95, and it's been like that for 60 years. And even though we lose on some orders, we want to keep it that way. We'd like to stay in the neighborhood. We have the Crime Victim Center 2 doors away from us. We have Emma's Soup Kitchen down the way from us. We have the school right across the street from us. And we have a lot of good neighbors, good people. We'd like to stay there for a while. Thank you.
Okay. That's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
If I put a personal thing in, I know that this organization, this company has provided at cost and below cost fabric to every theater organization in the tri-state area, and every single not-for-profit and church that has ever asked them for everything ever. Their reputation of generosity is well known.
Make a motion.
I would recommend that we approve this request.
Mark makes a motion to approve the request at the $15,000 mark.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second.
Seconded by Jeff. Is there any further discussion of this application? Hearing none, all in favor of approving, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Congratulations.
Do you want this back?
Yeah. Just to clarify, since we have everybody here, if your grant is approved today, you will, in the next week or two, receive some contact from the Redevelopment Authority. They will contact you to sign a grant agreement. Until you sign that grant agreement, your project cannot begin. It usually takes 1 to 2 weeks for you to hear from Redevelopment Authority once we get the paperwork and all that to them. So just wanted to let you know, so that the next steps are you should hear from the Redevelopment Authority if your grant is approved.
And do they know that this is a
Okay,
reimbursement
and
grant?
the fourth proposal
They do.
that was reviewed previously, and again, this was at the June 5th meeting where it was reviewed, and we requested additional information. This is the Sarah Reed's Children's Center application at 1020 East 10th Street. And I have here that we requested a formal cost estimate for the project, which was not included in the application.
There is nothing. This is simply-
And has the
revised.
requested documentation been sent?
Yeah, it should be in your folder, or it should be in that file.
For the August meeting?
Yes. Look under Sarah Reed Children's Center. If not, I do have a paper copy that was from our file.
And this is for the property at 626 State, is that correct? Or that's their offices?
This is 1020 East 10th.
That's
Okay,
their
I see.
cover letter.
Okay, I see. Okay.
1020 East 10th Street.
That's the location of the property in question.
Yep.
Oh, it's St. Anne's. Okay.
St.
fine.
Anne's School.
That I've been. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Fine.
Oh, that's right, Mark,
I'd get a tour of that.
you were also not at the June meeting
That's correct.
when we reviewed that proposal.
Of my error.
You're fine.
I did tour it personally. I think the architect that designed St. Anne's School is the same architect that designed St. Peter's.
The church.
The church
The
part.
church.
Yes, not the school, but the church, St. Anne's Church. Same architect as St. Peter's Church.
So when we reviewed this at the previous meeting, right, we understood what they're doing, brick restoration was good, except their total cost was $70,000.
I
They're
can
now
imagine.
asking for $15,000 to begin a portion of this work, and that was in that updated application that is in the August folder. So I'm gonna make a motion that we proceed in give them a $15,000 grant.
All right.
Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the Sarah Reed's Children's Center application using the revised quote that includes a breakdown of the work that will be completed for the $16,500 project for which they are seeking a $15,000 grant. Please signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, fantastic. Okay, so next is the batch of 40 applications. And again, thank you for bearing with us. We do want to hear about your project and have the,
So this is new business, correct?
this is new business. So we are moving on to new applications. Those 4 that we just discussed were the only 4 where we were waiting on additional information and had received
Those are the only
updated.
4 that we received, the requested information before the deadline. There are others that we're still waiting on information from, but I haven't received anything on my desk yet.
Thank you.
Chris, we spoke about the estimate a couple weeks ago.
Yes. But I haven't yet received any information. I haven't received the paperwork. If it was turned in to the redevelopment authority, I haven't gotten anything yet.
You pulled it up on the phone with me. I emailed it to you and gave you my phone number and the code, and you said you would print it out and put it on the agenda for today. This is Barbara Israelson with the 1017 Cranberry Street project. And I don't mean to, my apologies for cutting in. I just, it was my understanding that this was going to be on the agenda today after my telephone conversation with Chris.
That's okay. Barbara, if you've submitted it, we definitely want to review it today. Because
forward.
again, your application was one that we had tabled, I think, from either the May or June meeting.
May, I believe.
From June, yes,
June.
yeah.
Can you resend it to me?
Yeah, it was I can resend the link to you, but I don't have it saved as a PDF. But yes, I can.
Okay.
So Barbara, are you willing to hang in with us for just a few more minutes while you send the document to Chris and Chris?
She just sent it. I just got it.
Oh, okay. We will wait then.
It'll-
And I'm trying to download it as a PDF so I can send that to you
It opened as a PDF.
directly. Oh, okay, you can, okay, good.
Okay, I just sent it. I just sent it to you.
So I'm getting content is not available. You were able to open it, Chris?
Yeah.
Can you download it as a PDF?
Let's see if I can do that.
I can also resend it. Let me see if,
Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna try it that way, Melinda.
Okay, I just sent it as a PDF.
Haven't got it yet. Still waiting on it.
Thank you so much. I'm enormously appreciative and thankful.
Sure thing. And while we wait, just for the commissioners, as a reminder, when we reviewed the application and tabled it at the June meeting, the reason we tabled it, it was missing a cost estimate for the painting.
The roof was, during the meeting, as we discussed it, the roof was the primary concern. And as I started to get quotes, I quickly realized that the roof was going to be the entirety of the grant amount. The estimate that I've sent in is for $21,900. So, you know, unfortunately at this point, we will have to table the painting as the roof is the urgent item.
Okay. The PDF she just sent was forwarded.
Via email? Via.
Email also sent you one via Messenger.
Thank you. Okay, so this is the roof replacement for the main house and porch, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
No, I appreciate your time and your consideration very, very much.
Okay. I sent it to your messenger too. Email, you should have email and messenger.
So you emailed it me or messaged it?
Both.
Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, I have it.
Melinda, do you have her application, Barbara's application in front of you? I just wonder if it still says roof and painting. We want to update that to say it's just roof and the price is $21,000, right? So there's no confusion what work is to be done.
Yes, that should be, it can be updated though.
It can be updated, and in my memo to the redevelopment authority, I'll say that it's specifically for the roof and not painting.
So Barbara doesn't need to do anything else?
No, she does
You'll
not need to
fix
do
that.
anything else.
All right, so this is an actual quote.
Oh,
and,
also regarding my application, I'm sorry. I believe in the original application, my understanding was that the $15,000 cap on the grant included the 10% to be paid by us. But after having attended these meetings, it's the 15,000 is the total amount of the grant, and then the 10% of that on top. So is it possible to amend my application for the full 15,000? And I'm sorry, it's been a while since I filled out the application, so I don't remember exactly what I had put in there. But obviously the estimate being 21,900, that far exceeds that 15 plus 10%.
We have done that with other applications.
Yes.
We have done that.
Okay. It would be greatly appreciated.
So the
So-
total cost of the
So
job.
I'm gonna make a motion here before anyone else
Go ahead.
stops
Just in the
me.
notes.
For $15,000 for the Cranberry Street address for roof replacement.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Any further discussion of the application? Hearing none, all in favor of approving at the amount of 15,000 for solely the roof replacement, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Fantastic. Thank you, Barbara, for speaking up.
I have one question. What's the total cost of the job as opposed to just the cost of the, what's the cost of the?
21,000.
21,900.
Okay, that's the, okay, 'cause
21.9.
21.9, all right, that's fine. That's the
Thank you
job
so,
cost.
so much. You guys are lifesavers. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, approved at 15. Okay, so now we are, unless anyone else speaks up from the peanut gallery, we will move on to our new applications.
Now it's new business, because that's technically old business.
That's technically
Okay.
still, well,
Okay.
the old applications.
Old applications, correct.
Okay, so moving on to new applications. We're going in order that they were received by the redevelopment authority. So do we have a representative of Rick Philippi here, 519 West 9th Street?
Good afternoon. This is my wife, Claudia.
Hi.
I won't try to, I mean, you mentioned that you're gonna probably table these, so I won't take up too much of your time. I'll just basically say that we've lived at 519 West 9th Street for 25 years. Back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, we restored the home, and we actually, our request is primarily for a paint job. We did the paint in 2020. In fact, we actually, I think I submitted this with the application. We received a preservation construction award specifically for the tricolor historic paint scheme, and that was in 2020. So the total project cost, and this is a full three-story home, definitely a scaffold job. Total project cost, I believe, is $18,650. We'd be covering the balance of that, and we're seeking the $15,000 grant. I attached a narrative that has some more historical information to that. If there were any specific questions, I'd be happy to take those now, or I look forward to coming back in next month.
I used to live in the same neighborhood with
Yeah, there's two people here.
so it's with Rick and Claudia, and their house is absolutely historic. I've seen the interior. I mean, this is
Beautiful.
This is the kind of house on the inside of Erie.
Right.
Well, we hope to get another 25 years, right?
Let's hope.
It actually has historic windows that were in the same shipment of the Women's Erie Club. That they're all Tiffany glass. That we had John Bahanian re-led them whenever we did our first remodel.
I remember
awesome.
that.
Do we have any other questions?
We're tabling this, though, correct, technically? Or can we vote?
So,
Because this is a paint job. What do you want? I don't know what the answer is.
What we discussed before is there's 40 applications, 25 of them are probably windows and paint jobs. And rather than go through all 25 and vote individually, we'd like to group them all together, but not everyone has read the applications.
Correct.
Right? So we're hearing from the people because they took the time to come down and explain to us and tell us about their historic preservation. So
I suspect that our September board meeting, our commission meeting, we will be able to very quickly approve applications. But I don't, yeah.
And my only thing is, because it's just paint, and I don't mean to throw a monkey wrench into the process, that they're gonna run out of a window of opportunity to do it in the summertime. You know, they won't be able to do it till after the winter. Like, do the work.
Oh, I understand.
So
I don't think we didn't vote, did we, on this postponement thing, this 40 so many?
my problem is it's my fault. I haven't read 40 applications. So to me, and I think to Melinda's point, we just didn't feel comfortable voting on stuff that we didn't read 40 applications. I didn't read all of them. But I can understand paint pretty quickly.
I personally am not comfortable making
I
exceptions.
get that. That's fine. That's fine.
We're fine to come back. We
Okay,
can-
I
think
did-
if we
I
get
wasn't
approved in
making a motion.
September, we can certainly squeeze it in.
Oh.
And that's what, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, no other questions? But thank you.
Thank you.
For
Thank you.
for taking care of this. Appreciate it.
So we're tabling that, correct? For notes? Okay.
So basically, all of them are gonna be taken, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
And everything will be voted
it-
on in September.
It's my
Yes.
fault. I didn't read every single application. I think that's,
So 2 of us have not read. Mark
there's
didn't.
40 of them.
I was on vacation, and
I was
Dave
on
is not
vacation.
here.
No.
Right.
I requested them in print because I can't read that much on a computer.
Did you receive them in print?
No.
I can't
Okay.
get them.
But
So-
I'll get 'em back.
So that's.
So,
I need an
so
assistant.
again,
Yeah, I get
so
it.
I'll need
again,
an assistant to be
let's,
able to
let's,
do all that.
we'll repeat this again. Since we had, I was on vacation, Mark was not
I was
able
on
to read as
vacation.
well.
It's-
He was
I
also on
just couldn't do
vacation. You have not seen the applications. We're missing Dave Brennan, who was able to review them, but he was not able to call in to the webinar. So that leaves Jeff, our only commissioner,
Jeff has read all of
to
them.
have reviewed all 40 applications. So rather than relying on one commissioner who has fully reviewed all
I'm counting this
applications,
as number, oh, this is 2.
we will listen to the folks that are here in person. We want to hear about your projects. But we will table a formal vote until we actually have the opportunity to review. And we will review at the September meeting and/or vote at the September meeting.
Okay, good.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I, again, disrupted the
That
process.
damn monkey wrench, keep it in your pocket. Okay, so next we have Donald Shanley, 143 Sanford Place or Plaza. We'd love to hear about your project.
Oh, this is it, okay.
Thank you.
I thought it was the redevelopment.
The grant that we're requesting is for replacement of windows in the home. It's a single-family resident, very cute neighborhood. Dr. Gertrude Barber lived just about 2 blocks away from us, so there's a lot of some history down there. Anyhow, the house that we own was built about 1949. The house next, it was built by my wife's parents, and the house next door was built by her grandparents. They're both identical homes, and they sit side by side. We own one now. Our daughter owns the other one. We're obviously just applying for a grant to replace the windows on our house. Like I said, they're 70-some-year-old original windows. We'd like to maintain the same, well, the style has to change somewhat because of the age of the windows, but we're going to maintain the same style, the same color. We did receive 2 quotes. One was from Window World, and that was for $14,707. It was for 9 windows. A lot of them are the 4-panel windows in the front. We also received a verbal quote from Seaway. They came down, but they never did submit the quote. That was for $18,500. So either case, it was going to be close to the $15,000 grant. We were originally going to go with the one from Seaway. We like the style a little bit better, and we like the color. We want to maintain. Both companies tried to get us to go with a white flashing, and we have a brick house and a dark roof, and brown was the color that we've always had. We wanted to stay with that. We ended up, Seaway was not able to do it for us, or at least time-wise. They said it was a special color. So we backed out of them. We would like to go with the Window World at $14,707. And yeah, that's.
So Don, your original application was the 18.5, and you've amended that now to go with the Window World.
We did. We submitted an application. The first one was apparently misplaced. We had given it to security, and it never made its way. That was back in April. And then we did submit a second one. And you're right. We were at that time. We were asking for the other offer for $18,500.
Did you bring a revised quote?
I did bring, well, the quote is the same because we're going to change companies is all. So I used the same quote. I put a note on the front at this time. Seaway's unable to produce the brown color mentioned, or to match our house. Therefore, please change the amount and vendor to Window World for $14,707. And there's some pictures of the windows and so forth, and I have copies for everybody if you'd like to, just in case we didn't get the new one through.
So that's your revised application?
That's
your
it,
revised-
yeah, it's
okay.
pretty much this.
Give it to Chris, and I think that's.
Do you have the extra? Can I have one?
Oh, yes, I have one for everybody.
You mentioned that the new windows will be similar to the historic ones. Can you tell us a little bit about the changes? Oh, we all get a copy. Yeah.
Thanks, Don. Thank you, sir. So technically, the request, the scope of the job is now less than the $15,000?
Well, the scope is the same, the cost.
The
is
cost is
different.
The scope is the same, the cost is less, so are we asking for $14,559? You know, like, we asking for 90% of the lower number? Because it's actually, you can't ask for 15,000.
That's what it would need to be.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, same, pretty much the same. Like I said, the colors and the styles were a little different. We have the crank open windows now. They're prohibitive, really. So the windows that we are going to get are the full panel, same number of panels, but they would they push out instead of cranking out.
Okay.
So we tried to maintain it that way. The color was the big thing. We just didn't want to get into white, just because.
And they fit, it's exact, they're like.
It'll be the same,
custom
they'll use the
size.
same frame that is there.
Same number of lights going up, right, and their casement windows. right?
Well, that's another thing is that brings the price up, is that the windows we have now are they're 4 panels, and each panel has 4 individual windows in it.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're gonna do is, rather than pay for all those windows, they're just gonna put,
Dividers in between the
vinyl
glass.
strips across that would
So
match.
they'll look the same.
So the windows will be, instead of 16 individual windows, we'll just have 4 with the vinyl
4
strips in
inches.
them. But the appearance would be the
Identical.
same. And those were the things that they've changed, and the strips would be white, and the flashing would be white, and it just didn't look right.
So working with Window World, you get the brown that you're after?
Yes. Well, yeah, it's a bronze, but
Bronze,
close
yeah.
enough. Yeah, they all have a different color for the name for the windows.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
And so technically, they're asking for, Dawn, you're asking for $14,559? As opposed to 15,000?
14,707 less whatever was 10% that we.
10% is the
10% that we
required
paid,
match.
so whatever that.
Is that right?
I think it should be less than that, 14,707 less $1,470 off of that. Should be 13 something.
13,236, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So that's the request, is for
That's-
13,236.
However you set that up, I didn't know if you asked for the 14,700 and then we just deduct that, but
No, we would just subtract. So technically, you can only request up to 90% of, because your project came in under the 15,000
Right.
maximum.
okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Do we have a representative from Blessed Sacrament? Okay, moving on then. Dan Wolf? Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
And is this is Blessed Sacrament?
I have submitted 2 applications. One for my personal home at 421 West 7th Street, I purchased the home in 2008 from a family that had the home in their family for approximately 80 years. The inside of the home is fantastic. It's a brick structure, and I had a new roof put on it last year. And the roofer noticed that there are 3 chimneys to the house, and they are in very poor shape. They need, some parts need rebuilt, a lot needs tuck pointed. There's actually Swiss cheese holes through it where some of the mortar has eroded through. So I would prefer to keep the chimneys. It's obviously a lot less cost to have them taken down below the roof line. 2 of them are not used. They were fireplaces that are no longer used. One of them is the actual flue for the furnace and the hot water tank. So, but I would like to keep the look of the structure. Mm-hmm. And so this helps defer the cost of having those rebuilt and repaired. The second application is for a duplex on 408, 410 West 6th Street. I purchased that as a rental property in 2015. It had not been inhabited for, I think, over a year, 18 months or so. There was some issues with the lady that owned it. She sort of abandoned the property. It was overgrown. I planted new shrubs, put up new gutters, took out all the lead casement windows that were in the property and put in new windows. And it needs a new roof. It's a brown shingled, architectural shingled roof, and I will replace it with same in-kind brown shingled architectural. Okay. So those are my 2 applications.
Very good. Do we have any questions about these 2? Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Oh my gosh.
Flip it over.
Oh my gosh.
Kimberly Niemand. Trevor Thompson.
Good afternoon. I have some follow-up newer photos too, if you guys wanted to.
Sure. Yeah. Let's take a look at whatever you have.
I'm counting this as number 7. 4, 5, 6, 7.
So we have a we've been in our home. It's our primary residence at 106 West 41st. We've been there since we bought it late 2007. Done a bunch of work, mostly interior. Over the years, now we're trying to chip away at some more of the exterior stuff. So we've got some heavy brick damage in the rear of the home, but there's a lot of cracking, a lot of mortar that needs replaced and stuff. But you'll see there's some couple sizable. There's one section where there's several bricks missing that have kind of decayed and broken off, and there's a section that needs some extensive work because of the way I think water had gotten in between the expanding and contracting of ice and stuff. It caused some ice to shift, so you can see the heavy cracking probably in the photos that you already have. So we've got an estimate, I don't know the exact amount, it's 13,000 some hundred, so we're requesting 90% of that amount. Yeah, and then, so we've been really proactive with the other stuff. Even some of the stuff we did most recently, I did vinyl replacement windows last year, and we just had a contractor, even just actually about 6 weeks ago, cap those. We've done a lot of projects. We had 3 layers of shingles, 3 layers of wallpaper, all that kind of stuff. We did hardwood floors, remodeled the kitchen last year. So we've been doing stuff through the years, but this would help to kind of expedite some of the exterior stuff. So. Any questions?
No, that's some pretty bad damage where that brick is separating from the.
It really is. Yeah, there's some issues. I don't know if there's a smaller, maybe the footer work wasn't done correctly originally. He can fix it without doing footer work, but Dominic had said, it's all fixable. It's stuff that's been, not addressed for quite a while, but now we're trying to get to it. So with your guys' help, it'll make it a lot easier.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We should keep those. I'll keep them with the file.
Tim Hoover. welcome.
Oh, thank you. Never did this one before, but okay. Ready to start, or?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I own a property at 217, 219 Liberty. Purchased about 8-9 years ago. It's been originally owned by the Torok family for years, and it's always been brown and white. They told me the old barber would paint every year that same color. If you need to see a picture, I have a picture, and I'm trying to keep it so it's still clapboard, and I wanted to keep the original look. I painted it once like 8 years ago, but it's getting time, and I hate to put the vinyl and enclose all the pretty details of the woodwork and everything. So I have a professional painter coming in. I think the quote's $11,500 plus tax, and that's to go ahead and sand the old clapboard, fix the rotted areas, and keep it looking like it's a 1960 house and 16, and it looks original inside also. So it's one of the few left on the lower part of Liberty that's like original equipment without plastic on it. I can give you pictures. They told me not to bring pictures, but I have it on my iPad. It's a brown one. Nice. It's been like that forever. Nice.
Cool.
It's good.
Oh, beautiful. Lovely. The beautiful house.
That's nice because it has the old details and everything.
Yeah, it is. In a nice row house. Yeah. So, a couple questions. I see the owner's name is ETC Custodian. Is that you? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's what ETC is. Actually, okay. All right. And then the other thing I noticed is the cost estimate is $12,190, but you can't get that. You get the 10% off because on the grant request is for the full amount. And it would be less 10%. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
That's the application.
That's this one?
Yep.
Okay.
I forgot it was under ETC.
Thank you.
Questions, answers?
So I have a question.
Oh,
Tim.
yes,
I'm so
sir.
sorry. The total cost estimate is $12,190.
Yes.
But then the grant request would be 90% of that number?
Yes,
'Cause
that's
technically
fine.
here it's the same number.
I didn't
That's
realize
okay.
it. That's fine.
I just want to make sure that I get the notes correct.
Absolutely.
So I can amend this down to 90% of the estimate. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that number, was it like 10? So it's like 10,970, something like that?
Yeah, 10,971. $10,971.
Good?
I'm good.
Okay. And then where are we doing after this? They were reviewing all these, or how is this working?
So what we'll do.
It's hard to hear back there.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you asked. So the commissioners will take the opportunity over the next month, now that we have access to all of the applications, we can review them carefully. We will weigh your comments and make a formal vote at our next meeting, which will be the first Monday of September.
Okay. I was trying to get the project before the glacier gets here. Have to schedule with the painter too.
Hopefully this year is like last year. Didn't I think we were still doing construction projects up to early December.
Never know around here.
No, I know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kelly Dempsey.
Hi, good afternoon, morning, afternoon. This is for 627, 629 West 7th Street. My husband and I live in the upper portion of a duplex, and we have the bottom available for rent. We have a double-decker porch on the property that, I guess, we bought the house in 2018, moved in 2019, and have just been kind of working through correcting a lot of neglect ever since. We've done electrical work to the property, taken out old faulty gas lines, you name it, we've pretty much done it. But the double-decker porch on the property, we had a carpenter take a look at it, and the supports where it touches the ground were never properly installed. The wood is just kind of rotting at this point, which threatens the structural integrity of the house, obviously, but also our house, prior to us owning it, was wrapped in sidings, and the porch structure itself is an older type. I'm not exactly sure how old it is, but it's certainly not new. And so what we're proposing to do is to rebuild the porch as it currently is in terms of the style of it, but remove the siding from the porch and restore a clapboard look to it, and just make it functional again, so we're not worrying about it falling off of our house. That's the that is that one, and I think you have the quote and the pictures as part of our application. The quote that we received was $29,600, so our funds would be $14,600 for the $15,000 grant request amount. So it's going to be a substantial investment on our part regardless, but certainly makes a huge difference for us on when we can do it and whether we can do it in a historically appropriate manner, as opposed to just getting anything put on the house, because the existing one has to come off either way.
What is the existing? It's some sort of siding?
Yeah, it's a knee wall porch. It's on the corner of the house, so it's not a spanning front to back. Oh, good, he has some pictures. I think I have some here too.
This can be seen from the street.
Yeah, yeah, it's the front corner of the house. I have a color pictures too.
Oh, I'm actually looking online.
So Kelly, a couple questions.
Yeah.
I wrote your narrative, and it really invested a lot of money.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's what historic preservation is all about. A couple questions on the porch though.
Mm-hmm.
What will it look like when it's done? Are they going to actually duplicate the look as far as the columns and
Yes, that's the idea. We're duplicating the knee walls, the columns. We're going to remove the gray siding you can see and just put a more original clapboard, because under this siding that was put on, I believe in the early 2000s prior to us owning, just from talking to the neighbors, that's obviously not original, the gray siding. So we're just going to remove pretty much right at the line of the porch and just have it be a more clapboard look instead of the siding. That's really the only change we're making.
He mentions in his quote the T111 siding, which is vertical every 4 inch.
Mm-hmm. I believe so, yes.
He's going to use that in lieu of the vinyl siding.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And he also mentions in his quote posts set in concrete. So he's taken the whole thing down to grade.
Yes. As you can see, it slopes significantly over time because the supports on the ground were never set in any kind of support. They're just on the dirt. So they've rotted over time. So what he's going to do is just make them structurally sound. Correct, yes. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, no, this is all going to require a permit.
So he's going to duplicate the columns, you're going to put the T111, which will now be vertical.
Mm-hmm.
Horizontal like the rest of the house.
Correct.
And same thing on the inside, it looks like it's got beaded board on the inside, it's going to replace that on the inside of the new wall.
Yes, the beadboard on the inside is going to be replaced as is. And I don't know how much you can tell, but the ceilings are also beadboard. They're just not painted white. And we want to replace those as well, reuse where possible. No, they won't need to take the roof out. The roof is good, but portions of that beadboard are rotted from previous roof issues. The roof has been replaced since those issues were there.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you very much. Are you here for the next one?
I'm also here on behalf of David Hodis, just so you know why I'm not. but I don't know if you want to do that one right now. or-
It's actually next
Oh,
in line.
perfect.
Yep. Just stay right where you're
Oh,
at.
that makes
Yep.
sense, because he would have placed the applications at the same time. David is my husband. We also own the house directly next door, 623, 625 West 7th Street. We purchased that in 2021 when it came up for sale, basically because that house had also been neglected for a really long time, and we wanted to prevent it from deteriorating further directly next door to where we lived. So so that is it's also porch work. It's a little bit less extensive though. It's just the rotting. There's significant rot on the first story deck boards, so we're going to replace those deck boards. That's the long and short of that one. And I do have some pictures if anybody needs them.
So I noticed on the quote, and this is when I just started reading, the quote says 625 West 6th Street, but it's not really.
Oh, no, it's 7th Street. Yeah, they messed up on that.
But anyway, okay. So again, this is the two-story flat, and tell me again exactly, what will it look like when you're looking at the picture now with the,
This one actually is going to have almost no cosmetic difference. We're just replacing the deck boards on the first story porch. Right now they're sagging in and in danger of collapsing. We're not changing the exterior look. I believe so, yeah. Correct.
Yeah, the brickwork looks good. It's just.
Yeah,
the
we did
deck
some-
looks like it's slanted in the middle.
Yeah, we did some brickwork last year, but the deck boards are kind of the next big issue.
Any further questions? Thank you for both applications.
Thanks.
Thank you. Sarah Nelson? Okay. Pineapple Real Estate. This is for 461 West 8th Street.
Oh, gosh, that's great.
No. Let's see. We have a second one for Pineapple Real Estate. No. John Thompson?
Hello, everybody. 921 West 5th Street has been in my family since 1976. Inherited from my parents. The house is part of the ongoing neighborhood. We plan to be here for a long time. The house has been worked on numerous times. The front porch in particular about this application is old, rotted. A couple of years ago, termite damage was done to one of the joists holding the porch up. And it's an eyesore. It is unusable as is. We just want to open it up, keep the same footprint, the same style, just make it inviting to sit on the front porch, enjoy the neighborhood and the weather, and have fun with the household.
It is a nice looking house. It's well cared for in the whole row.
Yes, we've spent, through my parents and my family, spent a lot of time and money.
So I noticed on your application that says that this 14,009 is an estimate, not an actual quote.
He won't give us a quote until we, yeah.
So 14.9, that is.
That's a tear down of everything but the roof. The roof will stay the same. The foundation, the substructure, and the flooring and the railings would be replaced.
So you're doing windows,
No, the windows are gonna be torn out. It's just gonna be an open porch.
Okay, no windows.
No windows, no.
Columns will look the same as they.
Columns will look the same, may minus, the two center ones or three center ones in the front, just depending on the structural, use of it, because it's no longer holding the windows.
Okay. So less columns.
No windows, no. Yes, I believe the porch was enclosed way before we had it.
But not original.
No, no.
So you're actually bringing it back to the original.
Yes, yes, that's, and a lot of houses along the street have open porches along.
Somebody enclosed it.
Yes, as a extra room.
My only question is that the cost estimate that we have here is at 14.9, and then the request for the grant is 15,000, as opposed to it would be 90%, which would be 13,410.
No, I don't. I am not understanding the 10% aspect of this.
So the idea is that the city will give you the money, but you want the owner to have some stake, in it. So we're saying 10%, the owner has to put 10% of his own money. So in your case, if your quote is 14.9, you gotta put in $1,490 of your own money. That's about 10%. If your porch came in at 30,000, you get the whole 15 because your 10% is the other 1,000 above 15 right there.
Right.
So can't ask for $15,000 for a $15,000 job. He was 15. Yeah, so the most you could ask for this would be $13,410.
Unfortunately, your contractor will give you an actual estimate. It may wind up coming in higher, when we're saying the money on the table, could get it for 15,000.
If his quote was higher than,
Well, let's say it should be, we want a realistic quote.
Right.
We don't want to just inflate it to make it match. Because really, if you can get him to give you a good price on it, then you still. So if this is just an estimate, I was even higher than that. That's the
okay, what's my responsibility is to get the quote?
Yes, yes. If you can do that, we're gonna table this and look at it, and then go out to the next month. If you get a revised quote to me of more realistic scope and more realistic number, then it would be good.
All right.
It's up to you.
Okay.
You and I will just go with this estimate.
Well, I have to get a quote anyways for myself, and I might as well, turn it into you. Yes.
Yes, that was it's actually technically asking for more than
But note if the contractor will refuse to give you an additional or revised quote because of their concerns with entering into the project, we will ultimately need to use the estimate provided to determine the ultimate award amount of the grant. So if this estimate remains at 14.9, we would then be able to award potentially 90% of that cost. Okay.
Then I would be responsible for the 10% plus any overage that he.
Yes, if it comes in as a $20,000 project, yeah. What's the difference between an estimate and a quote? I think we've seen documents with estimate.
I think one's contractual, one's not.
But I'm saying I could just pick a number out of there. Well, I think it's $20,000, and that's my number.
Having a hard quote is good. Understand that there are unknowns in there.
Yeah. So I'll pin them down for a quote. Yes. Yeah. Now, do I submit it back to whom? Chris, okay. All right. Any other questions I can help with? Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Lesueur? Jason Foltz, who I thought may have been online. Okay, thank you. First Presbyterian Church of the Covenant?
Good afternoon.
Hello.
First Presbyterian Church of the Covenant's requesting $15,000 for 627 Myrtle Street. 627 Myrtle Street from the 1930s to 1973 was a parsonage of the church. In 1973, it was converted into, well, the purpose of the home changed and became what we now call the Kirk House. The Kirk House houses Gannon University students, both American students and international students, at a very reduced rate than they would otherwise normally pay. It's intentional Christian community. The students are involved in the life of the congregation and the life of the community. They're involved with our West Bay Front, National Night Out, things of that nature. The monies would be used to repair the roof, decking, drip edge, shingles, ridge vent, and woodwork along the roof line that has been water damaged. And so that's what we're requesting. Yeah, it's a beautiful craftsman home. It was built, I believe, in the 20s, if I'm not mistaken. So they've done a good job of maintaining it, but it's, yeah, exactly. Oops, sorry. Thank you.
Other questions about this project at all?
Thank you.
That's it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yep, have a good afternoon.
Spencer Diepold? Is that pronounced correctly? Okay.
Yep, so I am putting in today for exterior door on our house. 4031 Trask Avenue. This is along 41st Street side. Currently it has a wood door. It's kind of a cheap wood door that was put in at some point. And it's rotting, deteriorating around the edges, side lights, things like that. So we got a quote to replace it with a fiberglass white door that would match the blue door that we did on the front of the house last year. This is the second one I did. I don't know if you guys remember. I had done bricks previously.
Same property?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, the total with this one brings the total to $14,799.60 for the property. Picture in the quote. Yeah, side lights. The one that's on there now has side lights going the whole way down to the bottom. The one that we're getting quoted only has side lights on the top because you can see into like basically an area where we keep shoes and stuff. So it's just kind of make it more private. The existing door has two small ones. We did have it quoted for one larger one at the top, which matches our front door that we had put in. I don't think that door that was put in there, I think it was like just slapped on at some point. And actually, if you can see in the pictures that I had, it doesn't even have a doorknob on it. They put a deadbolt where the doorknob should be and a little handle. And it doesn't even line up. It just kind of flicks back and forth. It doesn't even close right. So it's...
Kara DeJohn.
Hi there, Michael and
Hi,
Kara
how are you?
DeJohn, 329 West 9th Street. We purchased our house back in June of 2007. Very historic house. It was built in 1872 by Andrew Blila, who's a German immigrant. We've had many of his descendants come visit the property. A lot of them live in this area and also up in Webster, New York. We even had one fly in from Missouri who visited the property. The inside of the property is just absolutely gorgeous. There's teak, mahogany, maple, just all kinds of amazing architecture. We've taken very good care of the house over the past 16 years. Unfortunately, we've never been able to get it painted. We moved in there, we did some touch-up work to qualify for the FHA loan back then, but it's never been painted. You can see in the pictures, it really needs a good paint job. We had several estimates, and this estimate that we submitted, I believe it's for $18,600. It does a lot of painting, but it also does a lot more to our exterior windows have never been open, the storm windows, so they're gonna kind of fix those up. All of the windows in the house, they're non-traditional windows, so you can't just go and get the vinyl, I mean, they all have to be, so we've never fixed up the windows, but this is one of the nice things that I think this will help us cover, is also getting these storm windows repaired as well. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Yes, there's also some really nice ornamental pieces on the house, if you can see from the pictures. Some of the wood has actually rotted off of those ornamental pieces, so this contractor would like to try to replace what they probably looked like. And the other estimates we received was strictly painting. And so this contractor is actually really admires our house, so he's willing to put in some work to try to get it looking to maybe what it looked like 150 years ago. So.
It is.
This is one of my favorite houses in the city.
Oh.
The columns on the front is
So the columns are in excellent shape, but there's so many layers of paint on them. So essentially they're gonna just scrape it all down and put fresh paint on there.
I've seen those around the columns recently made up of like sections and there's a barrel, right? And it looks like the barrel section is coming apart, but it's just pure white. I didn't know anybody does that kind of work.
We had some work done to the front porch, and it was leveled out and it was supported, the beams, and we had the front steps done. But yeah, nothing with the pillars yet. I mean, as far as we know with this, they're just going to be power washed and painted, right?
Right. They're
far
in
as we
pretty
know.
good shape. The porch structure is actually very nice.
Yeah.
The floor is probably going to need some extra work there as well. I think I included a picture of the flooring. If there needs to be any replacement of the wood, they'll do that as well. So.
What historic preservation is for, right? The money fund is preserving the town.
Tell them about your sign.
About the house?
So it's interesting. The front 3/4 is wood siding, and then the back quarter is the block, like masonry block. So at some point they must have added an addition to the home. We're not sure what year. Oh yes, we know a lot about the.
Yep. Yeah, and the upstairs hall has the traditional seafarer's wave. It's
The hallway
goes
is
like this,
curved. Yeah.
I'm sure our younger kids don't appreciate it, but we do. With the wave in the upstairs.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's good.
Did you say you used to live there?
I used to live down, not in that
Oh,
house,
okay.
but in that whole area there, and I saw the house many times. I've never been in.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you chosen a color scheme?
I haven't. Us. I get the final say. We're definitely going to look at the historic color scheme, but it's going to be muted. It's not going to be anything flashy or bright. There'll be still white trim, possibly little bits of black to contrast because we do have steel security doors on the front. Yeah, so something historic, muted tone, not gray. It's not going to be gray. I know that. And it's also on the bicycle tour. I just found out the library does a historic. Oh, it's really tiny.
Just a little backyard. There's a shared driveway.
So thank you so much for your consideration. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Mark. Adams. Sorry.
You guys all look vaguely familiar. So this house is right next door to the house that I just redid. And it's an old house, and it's been, I've maintained it very well. I've had it about 25 years. It's got new windows, got a new roof, and the inside is totally unmolested. It's absolutely beautiful. It's like the house your grandma had. And so what I'm asking for is I'm going to have it resided just like the house I just did. And the part of the residing is going to be to redo the front porch because it's structurally sound, but it doesn't look structurally sound. So they're going to put up, they're going to take down what's existing and put up a new railing and get it supported. And the cost of the project's $20,000, and I'm asking for $10,000. And the way I came up with these figures is I usually allocate $20,000 to actually maintain my homes. And between the two houses and this funding, I would have $20,000 in it. And so in looking at our previous discussion and I understand what you're saying is that it's kind of unorthodox what had happened on my previous house. Mm-hmm. But I was wondering if you would consider changing this one for my estimate it being just $10,000 that I'm requesting for the grant and making it $18,000. If you made it $18,000, then the other house would be covered. And then if you wanted to shelf that and say,
No, we don't.
We can't do that?
No, we don't mix the two up. Just to be clear, we're reviewing this quote, right? We're reviewing this quote. The process is the submittal. You don't start until you have a signed agreement.
I understand that.
Okay. All right.
I realize that mistakes were made. There were some communication errors. But what I'm saying is, I'm only asking for 50% on this house. And can I change that 50% to 19%? And if you could, then I'd be happy with mistakes that were made. I mean, I obviously was not clear of what was going down, and this would certainly facilitate that.
Let us take that under advisement. We're not going to give you an
I know
answer
you're
right
going to
now.
be reviewing the other one,
Yes.
but I'm just thinking this might give you an alternative that I would certainly, it would be great, because it would fit right into my budget.
Let me ask you a couple technical questions about it. Are you changing the look of the porch? I mean, the size of the columns, the surface of the columns? Is it going to look the same? I see railing instead of like that.
Instead of having 3 columns, they're going to support them with 2x4s, and they're going to put more so that it'll support the roof. It'll make it stronger. And then they're going to put a railing across the bottom, where right now the wood is rotted and falling out.
But these columns look to be something on the order, maybe like a foot square. So
Right.
you're actually going to reduce
I'm
the size.
going to take them all out, and instead of there being 4, I think there's going to be 6. I think I drew them in. There'll be 6 columns going across, and they'll go from roof all the way down to the deck, and then there'll be slots going across. It'll be like a picket fence look.
Okay. So the look will change.
The roof will not change. It'll be
No, I mean the look of the porch. Like it'll have more columns,
Yes,
smaller columns, and the
it
knee
will
wall will
change.
be gone. It'll be a railing.
Mhm.
Okay. No more questions, Your Honor.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
mean, if you could consider that, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Janet Ferguson?
This is flat. 722, 720. Oh, okay. What's her business?
Take your time.
Okay, we're talking about the project at 8th and Liberty. Probably people in this room recognize the house by the turrets. And it's a nice, beautiful old building. I bought it 10 years ago and have done a lot of interior work because improvements were very needed. The house was trashed. This grant would help with the exterior siding, soffit, and that we're ready to do that kind of a project on the building now. So, any questions? Pardon me?
What sort of siding?
It's going to be vinyl siding. It's currently got aluminum on it. That's not original, what's on the building now.
Right.
So,
The turret, are you gonna do the turret too?
yes.
Is it gonna be vertical? Obviously.
I'm not
turrets
sure
are kinda hard to do.
exactly.
Okay,
They
but
did.
you're doing the turret as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And the soffit underneath.
Soffit and fascia. Yeah.
When did you said you bought the house when? I'm sorry, it was.
10 years ago.
Okay.
It was in disrepair. And the tenants, it was an out-of-town person who had someone managing it, and they were breaking windows and doors and whatnot constantly.
At one point, it was a CPA office or something?
It was,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So the picture that's in your application is 2009, and the porch looks more original than now.
We've repaired the porch and stained it and made it look much nicer.
So this is an old picture.
This is 2009.
Yeah. And the other addition would be the insulation underneath the siding. I'm sorry.
The what under the siding?
Insulation underneath the siding. It is.
Yeah.
It's
Good
cute.
spot, very visible.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
You know, it might be even more so, there might be changing the easily two-way one-way traffic, changes right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be more visible.
Yeah.
No more questions.
No. Okay.
Thank
I
you.
will hobble back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Daniel Riley?
Hello.
Hello.
So 2620 Charlotte is 180 years old, so I thought it was a pretty good candidate for this. I do this full time. I did I fixed the Struber house last year. I did Charlotte this year, and I just bought the Grape Arbor in Northeast.
Oh.
Basically, the proposal was for windows. I've done a lot to the house just for the context of the scope. I bought it for like $115,000, and I put $180 in, and and it appraised for $250. So if you ever saw that movie, The Money Pit, it's kind of like that. So basically, this is just for windows. All of the windows they either don't open or they're just they're rotted from the bottom. I received one actual quote from Advanced Windows and Siding, and then I talked to Window World, and they weren't real confident about like fixing the rotted wood, so I didn't really like what they had to say about that. And I thought the quote from Advanced was like pretty reasonable for 28 windows. So, and they said they would actually fix the wood.
Who
So
did you get the quote from?
Advanced Windows and Siding.
Oh, okay.
They had pretty good reviews. I've never used them before, but
So the windows, I'm looking at the photographs
Mhm.
that were submitted with the application. So there are a couple of windows that are fairly decorative.
Yeah, I can't really do much with those. I wanted to keep them. They have the bubble glass in them and everything,
Yeah.
but they're completely rotted from the bottom. Like I had to actually like Bondo a few of them just to like fill a couple of holes. Like they just really did not take good care of this house. I didn't really know what I was getting into until I started tearing things apart, and then $180,000 later, here we are. So I'm pretty much.
What side of the house are they on? The ones
It's everywhere. Like they're all as far as I can tell, they're all original windows. Most of them are not decorative. They're really nothing special. So it was pretty much. I replaced 3 or 4 that just absolutely could not function at all. Like they were basically, you could just push the glass through them. Like there was nothing holding them in there, and it was in the winter, so I just triaged that and got that finished. And then the rest of it is for I'd like to do that in November. So.
And I'm looking through my notes, and
Mhm.
I looked at 40 houses here in the last couple of days.
Sure.
Does this one have the porch? The windows? Does the porch have windows on it?
Yes,
Did
they
it
don't
have-
open.
Did
though.
originally?
I'm pretty sure they are. It has the wavy bubble glass in them.
Okay.
But they've been so. I mean, they're literally from the inside. They're just completely caked in with caulk. Like there's really nothing salvageable. There's all kinds of rot all over the inside of the inside of the sill, like the actual sashes. There's a couple that are cracked, and I do like some woodwork restoration, things like that. I can't do that. It's way too much. I tried to do the glazing, reglazing it, and there's just, when I was taking it apart, there was just like it was taking the wood with it pretty much. I would have loved to save them because it does have that original like wavy glass in front, but they're not salvageable. Any of them really. But it's 180 years old, so. Yeah.
Me too. Any other questions?
Yeah, I was thinking about having that done, like you said, but it's just way too expensive. I'm already like 50,000 like under market with with this house, so I can't sink anymore. Like I just can't do that like anymore. We did a lot of interior work. Yeah, they're right. So it's just going to be regular windows, unfortunately. But most of the house is regular windows, so there's 28 of them.
So how many of the pretty petals are
10, I think, 8 to 10. Yeah, it's a big house. It's 3,200. Yeah, I mean, I tried to. Like most of them don't even open anymore. They've like nailed them shut. They've caulked them closed. The bottoms are rotted out from where they just didn't put up storm windows several years, and yeah, I might keep them and put them in somewhere for later. But yeah, I can't really afford to have them all like redone like historically like that. It's too much. But we did do a lot of work to the house. I mean, it was in really bad disrepair with a lot of rot, and now it's salvageable. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much for answering questions. Brad, are you here on behalf of Margot?
I am. Would you guys like copies, or do you have photos?
I'd like one.
I will give you one.
It's cool you have the newspaper ad there.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that,
You find that in the house? Did you find that in the house?
No, that came from the Hagen Center. It was actually in the Hagen. I was doing research on the house and it actually came up.
Okay.
So,
didn't say what it sold for back then.
No, Zillow doesn't go that far back. But just kidding on that one. But overall, what I'm asking for and what we're asking for is the replacement of the windows in this house. There's just a couple things that I wanted to mention about historical, is that the replacement of the windows, and to keep it also historically pertinent, is there's a thing called the prairie molding, which is usually 3 or 4 strips in the top part. Now, when I did research on that, I found out that that was actually first devised by Frank Lloyd Wright, so it was a style that became an American architectural style. So those will actually, talking to my contractor, those will be replaced. They will be inside the window, so the look and feel and all that will be good. And also some of the parts about the house too is that there's a flying portico, which is like, I call it like the flying nun hat. That was one of the first things that we had to repair. We redid the roof, added gutters, things like that, and it also has a rounded arch door. So these are some of the historical architectural parts that are on there. It is also directly across from Washington Park. So I'm in the middle of 24th Street, and it is a shot. And it is a shot from the gazebo straight to my house. So what we're asking for is, with these windows, not only are we going to make the house safer, there was some water damage originally coming through the windows and stuff. So that would stop, and then also we would also have the historical feel and look of the house too. So, and I believe that the quote came in at $14,300, and we're asking for, I am requesting $13,000 in grant funding, and we'll come up with the $1,433 for matching funds. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. I heard about the grant. It was online, so I have Google searches that go out and pull things.
I see there's like 3 houses right on 24th.
Yep. Yeah.
I gave this one clock, or somebody found out about it.
Yeah, I did the originally for that. I mean, yes, we all talked, but the idea is there were all homeowners there. We're invested into the area for staying. We also work with Sisters of St. Joseph on the park. So we help and maintain the park and do those things. So we're staying there, and we're going to hold it there. And then hopefully we'll see what we can do. All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
You guys have a good day.
You too. Vincent Campanelli? We just spoke with her husband.
Hi. Thank you for considering my application.
Thanks for being here.
Just want to give you a little history on my house. It was built in 1941. It was custom built, hardwood floors, plaster walls. We live on the Lower East Side. We try to keep the integrity and the beauty of the house as much as possible. Just a little history on it. It was the first site of the Hammermill Credit Union, as the gentleman who owned it started the credit union. And then when they built the building on East 6th Street, obviously they moved. What we're looking for is to put windows in our lower level of our house. Due to the, through the years, I mean, the windows are like 81 years old, and they're starting to rot. We're starting to have problems where I can't take the storm windows out. So we're looking to try to put new windows in the, the bottom section of the house. So we got a quote from Seaway and asked them to please keep the integrity of the window so it looks identical to the old windows that are currently in there. The other part of it is we're looking to paint the aluminum siding, as over the years, probably 15, 20 years ago, we painted it. It's starting to finally flake, and we're starting to see the white paint coming off. So based on that, that's pretty much you know, the two things we're looking to do to the house to try to improve and, you know, keep the beauty of the house as it is. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry. Have a good day.
I don't see David anymore. David Gonzalez, I think David left. Okay. Dennis Schreffler? Hmm? Wendell Obereth? Oh, very good.
Hmm? Hi, I'm Winnie Obreth. This is my husband, Lee Shattuck.
Welcome.
We bought 545 West 2nd Street just over a year ago. It's right there on Bayview Park, right at first base, overlooking the bayfront there. We absolutely love it there. It's a duplex. When we bought it, it was 2 tenants. We live now in the 2nd floor, and we're looking to rent out the 1st floor. We've done a lot of renovation inside and out. We've done a lot of things like painting, cosmetic repairs, maintenance, work in the yard. And now we're ready to tackle the exterior of the house. So we're looking for help with replacement of the windows. We found out this winter with those cold winds off of the bay that all of the windows are leaking around all of the edges. The windows don't seal correctly, they don't lock correctly, which is a safety issue. And the front door, you can see daylight through all 3 sides. So we're looking to get that taken care of, hopefully, before this next winter. We would like to replace all the windows throughout the house. We would eventually like to replace all of the exterior doors. We just don't have the money to do all of that right now. So we're just looking for your help to do the one on the front, which is obviously most visible to the street there, the front door on the 1st floor. And then the big plan is, after that project is done, then we would like to paint. But we doing windows and doors first to make sense to us. We sent in the application. We sent pictures of all of the windows and doors there.
They're replacement windows from the late 80s, early 90s that are just kind of generic replacement windows.
Yeah, you can see that the previous. Correct.
But
Someone
not
and
well.
yeah. We had Window World came and looked at them and said the installation was not done properly, and there's some bowing in between the 2 different sections of window, and you can see where people had tried to tape something around all the edges and stuff insulation down in between, and obviously that's So we'd like to get that corrected, both for the rental downstairs and for us upstairs as well.
And we are transforming the neighborhood. Like when we moved in, like we're really good friends with our 72-year-old next door neighbor, and the next door neighbor next to that. We're taking care of them and really trying to bring up the neighborhood.
It really is. We love it there. See some of our neighbors here today.
Yep.
So it's this is what the house looks like.
Yes, that's us.
Thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Our West Bayfront.
Hello again.
Hello.
So this is for 716 Myrtle. We just acquired this property from Gannon University for about, I think 80 years. It was their maintenance office. The house on the record says it was built in 1832. From the outside, I have a hard time believing that unless it's had a new facade put on, but it's still a beautiful house. It is currently not a single family house if you go inside of it, but that's our intent, to turn the house into a single family, and we're not sure what we want to do with its outbuilding. It has a large
building in the back. But the focus of this money would be stabilizing the house. The roof is at the end of its life. There's some problems with the gutters and downspouts. There's been some problems with the some of the pointing of the bricks. The building has a tendency of getting hit on the garage side with vehicles going in and out, and there's been some repairs there. So I wrote up an estimate on some of these things. We're going to put a large amount of money into this property, just like some of our others. So I didn't give you the whole scope of the interior, but it's going to be a full gut out of this house.
So primarily the $15,000 you're requesting would go to the roof?
Yeah, that's, I plan on putting better than average, I've talked to Ann about doing, a higher end, I don't think we want to go copper with it because it would clash with the color, but a higher end premium metal roof on it, something that's going to look really good against the brick. So yeah. The tax record says 1832. Yeah, but
they're notoriously incorrect.
Right. It has a really old behemoth furnace in it from like 1900. It's from me to you wide in the basement, so that's going to have to come out and get replaced. But it is a pretty old structure. So
it's a beautiful building.
I see in the quote here was a thing on windows.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying you're spending this money on. I'm just going to ask about the divided lights. I see divided lights in the house. Are you matching that at all, or are you going to?
We'll try and match things up. Yeah. So typically the way we operate is it takes us a while to do our renovations. So we always try and stabilize first, and the roof is the first place we go, because if you can get the roof set up, then it buys you some more time on the interior. There's already been some water damage inside of the house on the second story because of that, so we want to get a new roof on it as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Chris, can I ask you a question? Someone I know that wanted to make a submission told me they had turned it in, and that was for a house on Frontier on Lincoln.
Yeah, I spoke to him on the phone, but I did not get anything before the deadline. So he may have turned it into the development authority. I haven't. So go through usually, unless they email it to me directly, they go through the development authority first, and then however long it takes for them.
I thought he was going to bring it right to your office.
He talked about it, but I never received it.
Do we have a representative from Palacos?
Yes, I am here, Melinda.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Randy.
Can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead when you're ready. Just tell us about your project.
Okay. Okay, our application is for the Palacos buildings at 2530 Parade Street. That is the corner of Parade and 26th Streets. The main scope of the project is to get the building painted on the south side and east side of the building. Anyone drives by there today, you'll see it's peeling quite badly. It is currently white painted brick, and we plan to keep it that way, with the exception of adding some extra detail to the windowsills that have been painted white, maybe like a limestone windowsill. Those will be black, and other trim on the building will be painted black for some contrast. In addition to that, we have 2 storefront windows on the east side that will be replaced, and we're looking at replacing the black glass facade that wraps around the front of the building. Do not have a quote on that yet, but we have quotes for the painting and the commercial windows. And our hope is that getting this building fixed up will just make the whole area look better. There's a ton of traffic on 26 and Parade in that area. Dunkin' Donuts was fixed up. I believe it was last year, the year before. We'd like to continue that momentum and get our building on track as well with some improvements.
Mighty fine donuts. You're committing heresy there.
So it looks as if the total with what you've provided with your cost estimates, we could work with that. I know you said that you were looking at getting a quote for, I think there was another piece of your project that you said you didn't have a quote for, but you have the $1,800 quote, you have the $9,000 quote, and then the $10,000 quote from Shaw Glass. So your total project cost, that reflects, no, okay. We can actually work with just the two that you provided. Are you okay with that?
Correct. I think that would still fit the guideline.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anyone have any other questions? Thanks for hanging in there with us. We have no further questions. Next on the list, Aaron Kerner. Thanks, Chris.
And I've got pictures. Yes, I'm back. I told you I'd be back.
I have your application. Yep.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Again, it's great to be back, and thank you for the time and hanging in there. I know it's been a long day for everyone. I'm back because I have 24, I think on my original application it said 34, but it's actually only 24 that need to be repaired. All my windows are original from 1925. Most of them, I don't know if the people before me, they cut out the weights in them, so a lot of them don't work. Like in the basement, there was a pile of cut weights for the windows. So right now we've just been propping them up with 2x4s and anything we can find because there are also no screens in them. And it's been a hot summer, so we're just doing our best to get air throughout there. As Chris mentioned, he's been to my house. He's kind of seen the state of the windows. There's likely lead throughout all of them, so that would definitely be replaced. I plan to maintain the original design of all the windows, keep the lines, the mullions all throughout, so that's included in the quote. I had almost every window installer in Erie come. I had Seaway, Window Town, Window World, Thermo Twin, all come see the house, so I felt really comfortable with Seaway. They also did my parents' door, they did my uncle's windows on Cherry Street, also another kind of historic brick house, so I feel really confident that they would do a great job on this project as well. So they would be replaced with vinyl. I know that's not original, the windows are wood. So a little different, but we think they'll be more energy efficient, which is gonna be great. And I'm just praying that I could get new windows before winter so I don't freeze to death in the house. But yeah, that is kind of the gist.
What did Seaway say that you use? They're not always the cheapest.
They are not, but because we've done a lot of work in our family, I think he maybe was a little more lenient on the quote because yeah, it's only 24 windows for $18,000. I just felt really comfortable with Terry. He assured me he would maintain the integrity of the home. They wouldn't do anything. He explained their installation methods, which other vendors did, but just the level of in-depth that he went made me feel more comfortable, and everybody I talked to, they're like, yes, Seaway's great, they can be expensive, but the other vendors, they weren't too far off. I can pull up those quotes, I think I have them saved. Oh, really? Well, that makes me feel good that they did. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. I know it's hard to see in the pictures because you're taking the photos like directly into the light, so it can be dark. I tried to circle where things were broken or where the weights had broken off a lot of the windows. In that back sunroom, I think it's towards the end of the presentation, glass is broken, so that's kind of a priority to get done before winter comes, but yeah, that's kind of it. Any questions? Oh, one thing to note, if relevant, I'm gonna have the windows capped in black. Right now they're capped in white on the front. So just like a little just design detail, it's a little different. I think it'll coordinate nicely with the new black roof that I have. So just in case that's relevant. No, it's actually the black capping is the same as the white. If I got black windows, like the windows themselves, if they were black, that was like $20,000 more. But if they just paint the outside white, then it's outside black, then it's the same price. Because I originally wanted the black windows. I wanted the black windows, and then when I saw the price tags, I was like, ugh. So, not for this project, but I thought the black capping was a nice compromise.
And that's,
yeah, it's the one to the left, or sorry, to the right, the like yellowish one. And I think you could probably thank my dad for both of my next door neighbors being in the meeting as well. He's been like the PR manager for my house, so he was really excited about the grant, and he's a chatter.
that one.
No. Hold on.
Yellow.
It's like yellow.
How about this one?
No.
We'll go up
Here.
and down the whole street.
Here, I'll show you.
That's what, yeah, it's not showing the, oh. Okay. Thank you. It is. Okay. I was able to find it.
Oh, okay, good.
The decorative detail in those windows is fantastic.
Mhm.
It's great. Seaway, again, committed to maintaining all of those details.
They did.
Okay.
They did. Because I had them quote a long time ago, and then after I went through the first process with you guys and saw the questions you were asking about everybody else's windows, I had them come back and look again just to like double check. I'm like, this has to stay, and make sure that's in the quote. So I feel confident that they'll maintain everything as requested.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Jeff, you're up next.
My name is Jeff Kidder Architects. I'm here, this first application representing Thayer Thompson LLC, owner of 3 contiguous properties at the southwest corner of 8th and Cherry. The corner house being the Thayer Thompson house, which is individually listed on the National Register. The 3 properties are going to be combined into one parcel with the address 605 West 8th, which is the Thayer Thompson. The 3rd parcel to the south has a barn behind it, which was the original barn for the Thayer Thompson house before the properties were subdivided. And the application is to restore the exterior of the barn. We included photos and drawings. The front north is in pretty good shape, and we're going to just keep it and paint it, do some repairs to the doors. The east and west sides have the original boards. It was board and batten. The battens are missing, and there's some other wood repair needed to make it weather tight. The south elevation is, well, been covered for a long time with rolled roofing, and that rolled roofing was painted, and it's all deteriorated, so we'll remove that, repair any wood, and put battens on it, paint the whole building. The roof is good, but there are no gutters right now, so we'll put gutters on to preserve the wood from deteriorating. Yes. Yeah.
It's like, isn't it one of the few houses in the area that's a National Register on its own?
It is individually listed on the National Register. Yep. It is not, because it was not on the parcel. When the listing was done, it was listed in the mid-'80s, but it will be returned to the parcel because the 3 properties will be combined into one. And we're reviewing what to do with the houses, but it will be returned back to 605 West 8th Street. Kidder Jeffries Construction will be doing all the work on the property. That's it. And the grant is, we're requesting $15,000, and the total work is $23,840. Yeah. It'll be barn storage at this point until we kind of develop the whole property. The same entity owns the house to the west next door. It's another wood clapboard sided property, and that'll be both houses will be restored for apartments, which is what they're set up for now. Okay.
Want to move on
Next.
to 401?
Chandlery Corner LLC, which is my wife and I, we own the building at 4th and State. It's also another individually listed National Register property. Originally was comprised of 3 buildings. In the mid-'80s, the property was purchased by Erie insurance executives who combined it into one parcel, renovated the 3 buildings into 10 apartments and 2 storefronts as a federal tax credit project. We purchased it in 2011 and have been maintaining it as is. This application is for repairs to the storefront at Ember and Forge. That storefront is all wood. It was restored in 1987, and we have been maintaining it, painting it, but it's wood facing west at the State Street sidewalk, which gets sun and wind and rain and snow and ice and salt on it. So plus it was one of the storefronts that got impacted by the riot. So, you know, the windows were broken and there were repairs made at that time to get Hannah back in business. No, where Ember and Forge Coffee Shop is. Where Northwest Savings Bank used to be there. So we are maintaining the wood storefront, taking the glass out, making wood repairs, putting it back together, painting it, refinishing the entrance doors that were redone about 7 years ago. And again, Kidder Jeffries Construction will be doing it with our own people, carpenter and painters. And that's what the grant is for. Again, it's $17,750. So we're requesting a $15,000 grant.
Questions?
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for hanging in there with us.
Oh yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Antonio and Sons Contracting. Is that a no? Okay. Gerald Kanonchik? I probably said it wrong again. I'm so sorry.
Close enough, Kanonchik, yeah. My name is Gerald Kanonchik. I own the building at 418, 420 State with my wife Susan. We've owned it for a few years. And now we're in the favorable but enviable position to be in the middle of the work that actually Jeff Kidder did on the Hagen properties north of us, the Troy Steam Laundry and the Horace Greeley building. And of course, the brand new, certainly one of Erie's largest and most magnificent recent downtown projects, you know, at 5th and State, you know, where the climbing gym is going to be. Yellow brick, which I'm about to think yellow brick was never my favorite, the red and the orange, but it's kind of perfect in its location, given its color between the other buildings. It's a great contrast. The building has been, I won't tell too much of a story of our ownership, but the building's been gutted on the second floor. The 7 one-bedroom apartments are gone. The 420 former Docksider has been gutted, and 418 is still occupied by Happy Garden, but that probably won't be in the long run. But this grant application would enable us to get going on the pretty. We have new power in the basement. Connects to State Street side. We have new gas on the back side, new gas manifold, not pretty, but essential to the attraction to a great tenant, which we're targeting these days. But this grant would enable us to pressure wash all the existing yellow and remove the green painted column where the yellow's underneath it and the red. So it's not the prettiest first floor exposure of brick, but we're going to strip all that and get it all down to the yellow, pressure wash it all, point it, and tuck point it as necessary, and of course put in the 7 new Marvin ebony windows.
You're saying you're gonna get rid of the black and it's all gonna be
The black is actually, that's like sheet metal, but the columns that your finger's on, the red column on the left and the green columns, that's red. That's yellow brick underneath it.
Okay.
And in the middle of the building, that man door to the second floor, those green columns are really yellow brick. And then, so we're going to strip all that. We're going to get it all the yellow brick, which is of course original. Most of them.
What's gonna happen to this black metal up here?
Unknown. We don't know yet. Once we take it off, it's possible there's some brick under there. We don't know. We're going to strip that off and see what's underneath it. We do not know that.
This is all brick as well.
Let me look at that picture that you're looking at. Some of that, no, that above that metal it's probably stone. And when we pressure wash that, I suspect it's not going to be black anymore. I believe it's going to be more of a standard stone color.
So a tenant just did that, right? They opted to pay that way.
Yeah, there's been like I said, Docksider, and then there was a Sub Shack, and then there was another restaurant in the 420 side. Happy Garden's been there for 10 or 15 years. But different folks did different things, including the painting of the yellow brick to either some of the columns. Some were green, some were green and yellow, and the red, on the south side, on the left hand. We're going to strip all that. And so this kind of gets us going to improve the facade to make it more original, but most importantly, maybe from our perspective, more attractive. We have a quote that is in the package for the labor, and a quote for the 7 Marvin ebony windows that are approximately 3 feet by 6 feet.
Great project.
It's going to improve it a lot. Going to get us going. It's, there's a ton of work remaining. I'm sorry? Oh, you were. And, some of the wood is. When we bought the building, there were 7 one-bedroom apartments in the 3,600 feet. Now it's an open space. It's gutted. They had to go.
Trying to get this whole thing to 110, right?
We're pretty competent and familiar and experienced in renovating old buildings and new apartments. And so that part we feel we're real solid about. But we haven't executed that because we don't know who's going to be here. And that's kind of the horse that's the dog that wags the tail.
So you have that sort of on hold?
We have that on hold. 3 or 4 years ago, we almost executed on the project. And when my son was in town, but he moved to Manhattan. And now you heard from him earlier today. My wife is hopeful to get him back. The 215 chair. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for presenting.
Thank you.
Hmm?
Almost done.
I know. Caitlin Palumbo. Michael Trott.
Hello.
Oh, Caitlin.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Michael, hold on for a minute. We're going to go with Caitlin Palumbo first. She's the next in line, and you're immediately after her.
Sure, I'll wait, no problem.
Okay, so I am Caitlin Palumbo. I live at 2650 Poplar. I bought the house in September of this past year, and I'm a first-time home buyer, so this is my first house. The grant application that I put in is for brick repointing around the exterior, so it is on pretty much all four sides, including the porch. There's some missing bricks on the south side of my house, and then it also includes the chimney, which is in desperate need of repair. It's pretty deteriorated. I think that's all I had. If you guys have any questions.
I don't know that I do. Anyone else?
No, that's fine.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for hanging in there.
Thank you.
Caitlin.
Of course.
Okay, Michael.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm Michael Trott. I live at 1035 West 24th. It's a single-family residence. I've seen a couple of my neighbors up here already. We're very fortunate that we have a couple of the houses that have become in tremendous disrepair, having been fixed now. And Aaron again is another one who has bought the house next door to mine and is fixing that up. That began deteriorating, and nobody really cared about the house apparently who lived there before. But now it's right across from Washington Park. We're right in the middle of the block, and my project is replacing 16 windows in the house. These houses they're all similar on the street. There's 18 houses on the street on the south side of Washington Park. And what these windows are, there would be 8 in a second floor sunroom, 3 in a couple of the back upstairs bedrooms, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down in the kitchen area, breakfast nook, mudroom. We're going with Pella windows. We've had good luck. We've had them do windows before. They did, I think they did like 8 of our windows before, and we've been very happy with them. We finished off the 3rd floor of this house. It served as a family room and then an office for me during COVID. And we're really happy with the Pella windows, especially even with the energy efficiency that we got. We noticed the gas bills going down now. We think that this finishing off these windows in the house will, really save in that area. But, they're going to be the same size. So we've had them do it before. You can't even tell. From the inside of the house, they did such a remarkable job. It's all older woodwork and very, like dark mahogany and that. They've done they did a really fine job with these windows. You can't even tell they were replaced, except for the fact that they're new windows. They do we were really impressed with their work. So we'd like to go with Pella for these windows as well. Everything else, as far as Washington Park goes, I think what we've seen now, like I told you earlier, that we've got a full slate of neighbors now across the whole street here, and they're all taking care of their homes. Many of us actively go over to the park and maintain it. I know me and Brad just yesterday were putting in some doggy waste stations that another neighbor had applied for a grant for through the Sisters of St. Joseph neighborhood. And I know we painted the gazebo down there. We've done landscaping, and we have a sign to go up too that Brad Ford was instrumental in getting. So, the street is really looking really nice. We probably are the oldest. We moved in here in 1986, and we're probably the oldest tenured neighbors right now. And we've seen that park when we moved in. It was nothing but a dirt mound in the middle, broken glass, dog excrement, gang fights every week or so over there. And we've seen it, get beautified with the gazebo and parks associated, things like that. So it's really gotten cleaned up since we've lived here, and we've been here, 37 years now. But yeah, again, ours is for, our project is for 16 windows. I don't know if are there any questions?
Yeah, no, thank you. Now, the application says 14 windows, is that, yep, okay.
Does it say 14 windows?
The application says 14.
I'll have to look.
Well, let us know if there's I didn't look at the, I didn't compare it to the quote. The quote may say 16. But,
Okay,
but
I believe
yes.
the final figure on the quote is 16,587. Is that the same one you have?
Yes,
I know we had to change it because we had gotten an estimate for all the remaining windows in the house, like the remaining 24, and I think we had to scale it back once we got the final figure from Pella.
So the quote total is $29,373. The quote total. But you did, with the photographs that were provided, you did actually circle windows.
Right.
Oh, there are two quotes
It
here.
should be.
Yep. Now I'm seeing the one for 16.
Yeah, it's the narrative I sent with the quotes. Yeah, the quotes I provided were from Pella, and I called them back and I said, if I submit this, because I wanted to get it in before this meeting, if I submit this now, are these prices the same if we drop back from the original? I think it was 24 windows to the 16. You're saying there's 14?
Well, the grant says 14.
The cover letter says 14. But then let's see.
And then I do see what you're saying, Melinda. At the end of this is
5.
So there's one quote. If I total up all of the quantities, it's 24, but it still ends with a 16,587. And then if I scroll down farther,
Right.
It goes to.
I thought it was 24 windows, and we dropped it back to 16.
Just trying to understand.
Yeah.
Because both of these quotes say 20, when you total the quantities, they total 24 windows. But we can sort it out. If we have any further questions, we can be in touch.
I'm sorry. I'll review it and I'll send, is it Chris?
Yes.
Is that who I sent it to?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay. I'll have Pella come in and give us another official one. The one you're saying is that original one that he sent us, and I didn't hear back from him for a while, so I requested the estimate again because I wanted to get it in before this meeting, and he sent it to me, and then at that point I said, well, seeing as it's so high, I'm going to pare it back. I'll tell you what, I'll send Chris another I'll have him come back. I'll have the guy from Pella, John, come back out and get the whole final PDF for you. And
Okay.
I'll send that to Chris.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize. I thought that was.
Our last one is Kelsey Southbury. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Letter K for Sarah. I just got out and posted this 3-hour meeting for a bit. Right.
Is there a Kelsey Salisbury on Zoom? No. Okay.
Because her map didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm out of order.
worries, we're back
This is in reference to letter K on your new business. I'm here to speak on behalf of Sarah Nelson's project. In case you need to shuffle through a bunch of papers.
Go right ahead.
I had a 2 o'clock to go along with it, so I got here for your 1 o'clock meeting. Left for my 2 o'clock meeting. I am so sorry. Will I need to reappoint anyone to replace someone on here after you guys quit today?
No, jump in quickly. Go ahead.
Okay. So on K on the agenda, 646 West 9th Street, the family's lived there for 12 years. In 2021, there was a refi where there's been repointed brick. The entire house has been painted and it got a new roof. With the remaining money, there was a few windows put in, but there are still 20 windows remaining. So I have a bid on there for 17 of those windows from a local company, Seaway. That'll get all but 3 windows on the 3rd floor western side of the house replaced, although I presume those will be done in short order. The only window not being done is a lead beaded glass window. So that's going to be kept exactly as is. All the windows fit the shape and dimensions of the house. Can't remember what other questions you ask window people. Oh, and so the house is 1895. In June, Tom Ferraro came in here and received a grant for his windows and talked about these 3 houses that are right in a row. This is one of those 3 houses. 1895, yeah. Queen Anne Victorian.
So in addition to the window opening size, the style of the window, that's the other question we ask if the style of the window will replicate the original.
Yeah. So they won't be wooden windows, but any of the windows that are particularly unique, the leaded, the stained glass windows, those are not being replaced. But any of the clear glass windows are being replaced with wood for vinyl. As has been the case the house has had 4 windows replaced in the last 3 months. It's just been a piecemeal project up to this point. So this would escalate our plan for that by about 6 years, probably, at the rate we've been going. Any other questions? When he said that about Filippi, it's a block away. I mean, he's still the same house.
That's all in that same neighborhood.
Yeah. I think you partied with my neighbors from time to time too.
We were on Poplar Street.
Thank you. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
So, let's see. We'll have the opportunity for the 3 of our 5 commissioners that have not had the opportunity to review carefully each and every application. We'll have a month to do that and then go through and vote at the September meeting on all of these applications that have been tabled.
I wanted to bring up Kelsey's the last one here. Her cost estimates are $4,800 and she's asking, I'm sorry, $14,800. She's asking for $14,800. I think we want to amend that.
Mm-hmm. We're still being recorded. Okay, is there any?
This is Mike Trout. You're correct. There were 14 windows on our project.
There are currently 14?
There are 14
Yeah, there are 14 windows in the project, not 16. That was my mistake sitting down for the meeting here. I found out I had COVID this morning. I had every intention of attending in person, but now I can't go anywhere for a while.
It doesn't necessarily weigh in or make an impact on the total amount of your grant that you're asking for, because I think, again, your project is clearly above, yes, the $15,000 threshold, but we just want to be clear on what you're doing.
Sure.
Back to the last one. I also have, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. I just have a quick question about that September meeting as well, just so I can report back to our committees. I noticed on the Zoom information that it's listed as September 4th, which is Labor Day. Do you intend to have the meeting that day, push it to a different day, just so I can report back to the people that need to know on our end?
Do we have an alternate on the calendar?
They may not have known it when they set up the Zoom conferences, but we usually, I think our bylaws state that we would hold the meeting on the Monday after. So that's what we did last year.
So it'd be September 11th. Okay.
And I'll make them aware of that. I don't think they knew that when they were setting up the Zoom.
Okay. So Megan, it looks as if September, and I'm pulling that just from thin air, so I didn't look at a calendar, but.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So yeah, September 11th is a Monday. That would be our next meeting.
Okay,
Thanks for asking the question.
Is this person still talking to us? Megan?
She was.
Okay. She's gone.
Yes, we've resolved her question. So her question was about the meeting date, the September meeting date. Do we have anything else for?
I'm so sorry, but it's like the last thing, she does ask for $14,800, and really, she should be getting $13,320 with her private funds being $1,480.
Who's that?
That's the last, we should amend Kelsey Southbury's request, because she's asking for the exact same money for the total cost.
Okay.
We have previously done that.
Yeah.
Right.
In meetings when they had sort of, that amount didn't consider.
Mhm.
So we've done it on the fly.
Mhm.
Also, just want to state, you're right now, anybody who is sending in an application is going to be eligible. So none of the new applications will be heard next month. Anybody who calls, emails us the information on delays that we are currently on hold that until we can.
Excellent.
Now, the party that I was asking you about said that you said he was too late for August, but he would be on in September. So
We have, yes, and he came in, well, one, I have not received his application. So
he said you told him not to. He said.
Yes, I had a conversation with him, and I told him if he got it in on time, we could consider. I also did tell him that we were coming close to giving away most of the funds. So to get it in as soon as possible. Right now, any application I'm receiving is on hold.
Okay, well then, let me ask you this, would you consider his?
No.
The,
No, because I already have applications in front of him, and I do have one.
You do have an application?
Not his. I have not received his yet from redevelopment. I have other applications on my desk that if we were to hear any new applications in September, I've had to put them on hold. We don't know if we'll have enough funding after we.
Okay, so, all right, well, I will talk to him.
Yeah, he called, I have not yet received his application. I mean, redevelopment, of course, sometimes takes some time. I know their administrators, so Hope is on vacation this week. So it may be said in the premise that I have not yet received.
A couple things from the rules you talked, but I just want to bring up. The Jeff Kidder job, barn on Cherry Street.
Yes.
That does not face the street. It is not. It is on the historic register. Now, the only reason I say that is Antonio and Sons on contributing historical resource, right? There's, as far as being fair and being consistent, right? They both don't be.
That absolutely is important to consider.
Second thing is the pineapple real estate. I think somebody brought this up. Oh, okay, Brennan said
Mhm.
there was an application for brick repair and an application for the architectural. That's work already was done in 2022. Right?
Yep, that's not an eligible use.
And the other one was the Gonzalez one on Poplar Street that on Poplar Street.
We haven't adjourned yet, sorry.
Yeah, yours is on.
I don't know how that process.
Yeah, I did have a meeting with Aaron last week because there's kind of some hiccups. I think a lot of this was pretty random. I don't think any of us here anticipated it being this topic. It is a full-time job to take the applications. I'm taking 4, 5, 6, 7 applications a day. I think 7 or 10 depending on the application. There are applications I've received that needed additional information. I've never received additional information. They didn't have bids or something else, or they just weren't qualified. So I have another 50 applications on my desk.
And I'm not blaming anybody.
No, but there has been.
There have been some irregularities.
There has been a hiccup on when the application. And these are all things that we're going to consider if we were able to create a permanent program. These would be things we would discuss and make it smooth out. We would only be taking so many applications. I think this is just.
That is critical. It's actually probably 12 is the maximum we really should be. Oh.
Well, to that point, I really think that we need to meet, not, and do it, what makes everyone happy, the sunshine business, etc. Do whatever it is you have to do, but I think we need a work meeting. You're talking about we're getting near the end of the money. We have yet to have discussed any plans or what we want to do to get more money to continue this wonderful program that obviously the city needs, and there is a hue and cry out there of, isn't this wonderful? So I'm sorry, I know everybody's, maybe after today, everybody's meetinged out, but we really need to do that. We've got to discuss this.
I think we
We've
can.
got to get
we should
a
absolutely.
forward.
We should set up a meeting just specifically to talk about a permanent grant project and how to approach it. A meeting just specifically for that. And we can set that up soon.
And we might need
we should
3 more meetings, because we have other issues that we still have not gotten addressed. And I think that we need to.
Certainly lessons learned from this. We should
Yes.
capture that to say,
Yes.
all right, for the next time,
Sure.
if there's a next time.
Yeah.
Should we have a meeting just to go over these, or we're just going over them on ourselves and we're just bringing that knowledge
Well,
to the
can
table?
we have a private meeting without?
Just to talk about the applications and go through them as a team?
We cannot make
Or we
any
can't?
decisions about anything.
I was
don't-
going to say, review them on your own.
That's what I'm asking. Okay.
Yep, review the application. What they're talking about is something different.
I understand that.
We are to review these applications on our own and then come to the meetings and be prepared to talk about them. Like you and I weren't, as well as
That's
Craig,
correct.
because Craig didn't have access to them and you and I were on vacation.
I
So
totally get it.
these applications, our role as commissioners is to review the materials ahead of time and then come to this meeting prepared to talk about them. And talk with the applicants that are providing the proposals. What Craig is talking about is a completely separate work
Yes.
session that will
Right.
be to focus on some of the things that we aren't able to get to or haven't been able to get to
In a regular meeting.
in our regular
Right,
commission
right.
meetings.
Well, let's talk about the applications, right? That some of them were windows and painting, which are easy, right? But some of the other ones that there's questions on, that the people weren't here, or even if they were here, will they need to come back for the, once you guys read the quotes, you may have more questions
It might be.
for that.
It might be easier. I don't know if everybody sent me a list of the ones they had questions on. We can't make any decisions, but at least I can take your questions and give them to the applicant and go from there.
I don't think our applicants should be required to attend the next meeting.
They don't have to, no. No,
I mean, I
think-
get
But if
everything we
there's,
talked
if there's
about today.
questions and their grant would not be approved, it would be
Right.
good to get those answers.
It would be good to
But
get
who
those
have not
answers,
approved
yes.
them-
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, those who have not approved or read, if they have questions, send them to me. I can get them to the. I had some applicants who were waiting on Zoom that couldn't stay, and they already emailed me and said, if they have any questions, let me know.
So do we want to put a deadline in? And
I mean,
say,
I don't have any
Yes.
questions on the
That's-
stuff we
if the
talked about.
questions-
That's what I was just going to ask. By when? Yes.
I would say within the next 2 weeks.
Do you have questions, Jeff, about the stuff we talked about today?
No, I asked
Like
all
the
the questions
porches
of the
and
people
things
that were here, but not everybody was here that, I wanted to ask questions of. But again, when you read it,
Yes.
you may have questions for the people who are here today, and it's unfair to them to have them come back.
Right.
So it would be nice if we could get answers.
Yes, I
and
would
then
say
just
within the
approve
next
them.
2 weeks.
So what's 2 weeks? What's the date?
Looking up now.
All right, so let me take
21st.
Yeah, take meeting minutes.
And
So
since
20
this is
by the
such a
21st.
laborious process, evidently, to get to have a meeting, why don't we pick 3 dates in the future and ask for all of them at once?
Okay.
If we don't need it, we can cancel it.
I would
But-
like those all emailed so we can determine, because right now we're at 3 hours. Email me the dates and I can see which
Well,
dates
well,
works for
no, I
everybody.
mean, you could email us the suggested
I can do
dates.
that too. Easy.
Okay, but the point being that since the big holdup always seems to be the fact we have to go through the sunshine business, which, you don't want to miss a deadline and then have to cancel the meeting, blah, 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 blah. So if we could pick 3 dates in the future, and, maybe we won't need all 3, but we'd have them booked and we'd all be hunky-dory with the process, and the worst that would happen is we don't
find-
have the meeting.
We'd find something to talk about, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure.
So that's my suggestion, for what it's worth.
Who knew it would be this hard to give away money?
What's that?
Well, I was going to say, we're giving away free money. So
Well,
It is very popular.
But a lot of
I think we're trying to do it
places are giving away
right
free money, but
and-
ours is
and not
apparently
let it be a
really easy to.
boondoggle.
Well, I said that to
think
Mayor
is a low
Schember, and he
threshold.
says it's hard to give away government money, and that's probably the problem, right?
But ours is so low threshold that it's become very, very popular, whereas other groups, other projects aren't able to give away money as fast.
Right.
And
This is a
that's-
one sheet.
Yeah, it's an easy application. It's a pretty easy
and,
process, but
you know.
that easy process has created mounds and mounds because nothing is digitized until I digitize it, and that is a laborious process. It's a tedious process, and I have to do it. I have to scan them on my work phone and send them via messenger so that I can upload them to OneDrive.
There's not a
I can't-
computer at City Hall that can scan?
No, because I can't get them by email. They're too large files. The files are too large, so I have to use my phone to scan every
So do
last
you need
one.
a new computer?
No, there's nothing about the computers that the email, a single email, some of these applications are too large with picture files and things like that. And so they won't come to my email. My email address will not take them.
Well,
So I
maybe
have
we
to
should insist that everybody physically write and photograph.
This is part of the lessons learned for the next
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
Here's the
Right.
thing.
I would
scan
rather
that.
this all be digitized in the future. Right. And it should be.
Well,
because
everybody
it's-
out there isn't a digitizer.
I
Well, and
understand
that's a
but
problem.
We
It
can
could-
assist.
Yeah.
We
The
can
tech-
assist with that.
If we
but-
do that, it puts a hurdle to some people unable
Right,
to.
right.
But we
Right.
and we can assist with that. The time taken to do what I'm
The
doing.
IRS is going fully paperless, right, some days, so they gotta come into the 20th century. All right.
Well, anyway.
Do we want to shoot for the 22nd, that everybody in the board has any questions to respond to the committee?
Yeah, no, wait, the August 22nd?
Yes.
No,
That-
I
I'm
can-
just saying,
applications
for the
and ask any
applications, if people don't, people should
No, no,
put
no.
their
You're
questions in
saying
by that date.
For our, what are we calling it, a work session?
No.
That's a different question.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is a deadline.
For the questions regarding the grant
I see,
applications
that
that
we're
are
talking
already in
about
our
today.
hands. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that date.
Or is that fine?
No, that's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
we-
done. Do you
we-
want
we-
me as secretary to send that out, or do I send it to Chris, or then Chris sends it back
I'll
out?
send it to
We-
the-
Okay, then Chris will send it
We
out.
don't need to convene on the 22nd.
No.
Just email me
Okay.
any
It's just
questions
a
you
deadline.
have about any
Alright.
application that I can then forward to the.
Like, I don't have any questions. You know, I'm
You
satisfied.
haven't read them though, right? So you
Well,
may
I have,
when you get
I
done
have to go
reading.
back and read the ones we skipped,
Right.
you know, but that's a handful. I mean, I can do that.
Yeah.
But these folks, I mean, I'm satisfied with everything I heard today.
Okay, good.
Are you?
I just wanna be in a position next month. to
Where we can
approve
vote.
them,
Yes.
Right,
not to
that's
say,
what I'm saying.
"Oh, here's
I
another
will-
question."
But-
I will say this: we've done deadlines before for notes on other things, and nobody sends me anything. So,
Not entirely true.
well, Melinda and Jeff usually send me something.
I was gonna say.
Usually Melinda. I said nobody, but usually it's Melinda, and sometimes Jeff. But usually, I don't hear from anybody else. So. I
Well,
can't-
and that's fine, then whoever it is that's not asking questions, I would assume that they have no questions and there would be no problem approving the grant. That's the assumption.
Can I ask a procedural question then? I mean, if we are okay and in agreement with the current package of applications that we listened to and will review from today, do we then answer them all with a single vote, or are we going to vote on every single one
I think some
again,
of these,
30 individual votes?
I think some of these applications are really easy to approve.
Can the
Right.
painting ones be put together and the window ones be put together and we have 4 votes?
So, yes, so what we had talked about previously, before realizing that, again, 3 of the 5 commissioners had not had the chance to review applications, we had talked about grouping them.
Okay.
So grouping those in, they are not eligible for this funding.
Okay.
They are to be approved, or we're still waiting on more information and or we have
Yes.
additional questions. So we can, if we as a commission want to come out early in our September meeting and since Jeff is our motion maker, come out with a,
You were looking at me before and I'm thinking, oh wait, you want me to make.
you're our motion maker. Come out with a motion to approve, all right, and go through ABC, AA, BB,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It's
And then we
something-
motion then,
Yeah.
in one motion,
Yes.
to approve 10, 20, however many applications.
Table some and deny them.
Right.
Some of them I don't think necessarily fit
Okay.
this, but based upon what we have approved
Have
before,
we
I sent them on
resolved this
anyway.
meeting
Because
issue?
some of these are
Not yet,
not
but we're
necessarily
trying to
my
consult.
decisions to make.
But yes, I'm fine with that. And because some of them really aren't that difficult. I mean, we get them and go paint your house.
What helps is not having new applications for next month, so that we can reassess where we are and catch up, so to speak.
Yeah, well, you're right, there's a weather component to this.
There's
too.
a weather
We keep
component.
delaying it and approve their painting of the house
In
in
November.
December, it's like, great, they go up a year to get it done, but still.
I was gonna say, but these projects can be completed in 2024.
Yeah. As long as the money is under contract by the end of 2024, they can do it whenever. They can have a contractor come in 2025 as long as they have a contract in place.
Yeah, I know the Windows guys are working far out as far as delivery goes.
That's an excellent point also. We just had glass put in at PACA and it took a long time. If we ordered it today, we wouldn't get it for 6 months.
Okay, so where are we with this? We're okay with the 22nd?
We know what we're gonna do with the apps we got today, you send
Okay.
questions to Chris by the
Okay.
22nd,
Okay.
and we'll
I'm-
put together,
I'm
we'll
good
try and
with
group
what I
everything
saw.
together and minimize the number of things we vote on.
Right.
Okay, good. Now, can we all agree that we want to have some work sessions?
I'll set up the dates.
And
We
you'll
can-
send them to us?
We can shoot for the 22nd. It's a Tuesday.
Well, no, I can't do it then.
But
I
for a
know
work
that.
session.
No, I can't be there on the 22nd.
All right.
But yes, that would be great if you
All right.
could, or maybe everybody should send in dates we are available or whatever.
I'll put together a few dates and send it to everybody. and-
Put together a bunch of dates and then we'll see which ones are good for everybody. Okay.
All good?
And then you can do a single,
All dates would have to be
sunshine
in the daytime
with
during work hours.
those dates, correct?
If you want to
You could
schedule
do a
them around the
single
1 o'clock, that's fine.
Request for,
Our standard meeting time.
yes, with those dates.
And the
Dave
public,
Brennan, by the way,
obviously-
said that he was driving in his car and it was raining really hard and it would have been unsafe.
Yeah, he texted me too.
Okay, so, are we ready to adjourn?
Yes, we are. I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Jeff. Jump in there, second.
Was that what you were waiting
for?
That's exactly what I was waiting for. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.